Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Containeroz podcast. The podcast is sponsored by PortPro, the leading operating system for drayage carriers. Schedule a demo today at portpro.io, and don't forget to mention Containeroz for 10% off. Episode 30. Today we got Rick Gonzalez, the owner of Freedom U.S.A., and his Operations Manager Jessie Cabrera, live in the studio. Welcome, guys.
Welcome. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming. Let's get right into it, man. So, share a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Rick Gonzalez. I was born and raised in the San Fernando Valley, Silmar, California, to be exact. I come from a low-income family. And, both of my parents were in my life. My mom worked 2 jobs. My father, he's a guy from the streets. And he's actually from Chile, South America. So, I grew up with book smarts and some street smarts behind me. Mm-hmm. It's, just born and raised in the Valley. And, I grew up like every child, dreaming and wanting things in life and not knowing which direction to take to get it. I didn't really have that guidance. My influences were the guys on the streets, in the neighborhoods, doing different things like that. My godfather, he had a couple of trucks when I was younger, and I had a chance to go with him once, and I kind of fell in love with big machinery, heavy equipment, and stuff like that.
Okay. What about you, Jesse? A little about yourself.
Pretty much simple life. I was born in Palm Springs, raised out in the Valley. One of the things that I tell people, I'm a high school dropout, making good money working in trucking. So that's, for me, trucking came from my parents.
Okay.
My mom, she's a school bus driver, so she has her CDL as well, her Class B. My dad has his Class A, works for the trash. So
Runs in the family.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet and end up doing business?
I'll tell you my side, and then he can tell you his side and see how it connected. But I hired somebody, to work for us who wanted to get their CDL. They came out of prison, and his wife tried to help him through me as a contact. So when I brought him in the company, he was telling me about his boy who he thought would be a good team driver for him. They can drive together. If I put them together as a team, would I hire him? Absolutely, and we brought him on board. And then, unfortunately, the other guy only lasted about 3 or 4 days with us, and he ended up working out.
Okay, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So, Operations Manager, that's a big leap from...
Company driver.
Yeah.
When he came in as a company driver. And, I have a pretty good sense of reading on characters and stuff like that. And when I met him, I was a bit worried about whether he was going to be all about his friend. They have the buddy system nowadays. Mm-hmm. My friend comes, I come. If I leave, he leaves.
Oh, yeah, that is...
So I was a little worried. And, with this guy, he didn't talk too much. And so I studied him from a distance. And when the guy left, I asked him, how do you feel about staying? And he says, man, I'm here for a paycheck, That's he's his own man and I'm my own man. I got a family to take care of, and I can respect that. There were times where I didn't call this guy at all, and he would call me the first couple weeks, hey, are we good? Why wouldn't we be? I don't know, I haven't heard from you. Well, that's the kind of boss I am. I don't call you unless you're doing something wrong. You getting your paycheck every week? Yeah, okay, well, then there's nothing wrong. And, he mentioned something like, well, I'm not used to that. I'm used to bosses being on my neck. Here at Freedom USA, we live by a model, live free, stay free, die free. And we provide opportunities for people. There's no need to treat you like a kid. There's no need for me to treat you like I'm the boss. If I'm the boss, I know I'm the boss. I don't have to act like the boss. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I give these guys the keys to the trucks. I give them their job. You're a grown man. You act like a grown man. You don't even know you have a boss. Every week you show up, you have a paycheck. gas cards in the visor, bills are paid. We have a guy appointed for truck maintenance, so if something's wrong, report it to him. By the time you come back to work the next day, the truck's fixed, ready to roll. So there's no really need for me to be bothering my guys unless they're doing something wrong.
So once they get the rhythm going, they know what's up.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, once we teach them and train them on the ropes and what to do and where to go and how their route looks, once they get familiar with all the facilities, I mean, you know, you get a text message every morning on your phone between myself, him, dispatch, you know, and to whatever driver. There's your assignment, your route, check-in time. You don't need nothing else. You know, you're a grown man. And if you're showing up late, stuff like that, then you'll hear from me. But, you know, for the most part, these guys have the freedom to do what they want.
And it goes with the name.
Pretty much.
So is there a reason why you weren't used to that? Did it take you a while to adapt?
Well, I came from working in the trash.
Okay.
So you already know right there alone, it's micromanaging and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first got my CDL, I started doing dump trucks. So from dump trucks, pretty much, how can I say? My boss at that time, he didn't tell me anything. Same thing as Rick. You know, here's your line, here's what you gotta do, go ahead and do it. And then from there, moving to the trash, having literally your manager calling you at every moment of the time. It kind of got tiring. I did that for 2 years, and after that, just, you know, I couldn't handle it no more. And then when I met Rick, it was, like I said, you know, being used to having somebody call me every moment that I moved the truck to driving a truck where I'm literally enjoying, the freedom, you know, and I'm enjoying the drive. I'm enjoying just, you know, driving down the road and nobody calling me.
Yeah.
So for me, it was real hard to get used to.
Oh.
Yeah. And then.
But now would you go back to that other style?
No, not at all. I tell people I love this job. I mean, me, even though I do the whole management and all that, like, sometimes I'd rather just hop in the truck and drive.
Yeah.
Like, it's that fun.
So he does both? If he has to, he'll...
He still drives.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
he still drives. You know, if we have an empty truck sitting, he's driving the truck. If someone calls in sick or someone needs a day off, you know, he's covering the day off. You know, the whole idea is to for him to pick up the pieces where I can't be there sometimes. You know, basically, it used to be someone called in sick, I had to get up and drive. It's like, you know, his mentality was that of like, well, you're the boss. You shouldn't have to do that. I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, you know, hear those things and I'm like, okay, you know, sometimes without him even knowing, I test him. You know,
okay.
Hey, bro, you got to do this. Okay, not a problem. If I could avoid him doing it, I will. But sometimes I would push the issue to see if he was really about his words. You know, they say actions speak louder than words. In today's society, you get a lot of people who, they like to talk a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm this, I'm that. You know, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do anything. And then when you put them to the test, it's like, hey, I can't handle the stress.
Let's start tomorrow.
And him, you know, if I tell him, hey, man, you know, we have a driver in Buckeye, Arizona. Hey, bro, that guy requested Friday off. I can easily call off the line, say, hey, we don't have a driver tonight, you know, he's sick or whatever. This guy, hey, tell me what time I got to be there. And he'll literally drive from here to Buckeye in his personal car, park his car, jump in the truck, run the route, park the truck, come back home, line covered. Little gestures like that, they go a long way with me, you know, because in the trucking world, as you know, a lot of things time sensitive. You know, a lot of companies base their businesses off of on-time departures, on-time arrivals. And, you know, when you go online as a general customer in the world and you're ordering from Best Buy or Walmart and they say your package will be there tomorrow by 1 o'clock, there's a lot more that goes behind that promise. There's the shipper behind it. There's the, you know, the fleets that are doing line haul work, guys that stay up all night driving till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure that, you know, the trailers in Arizona by 5:30, trailers unloaded by 7:30, final mile delivery service vans are loaded up, 10 o'clock in the morning, as promised, your package is sitting on the front door.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to be the best, I would have to say, in what we do, you have to do what nobody else wants to do. If you want what no one else has, you have to be willing to do what no one else is willing to do. And I'm a big fan of that quote. You know, there's a lot more to a team when it's just more about, if it's just more about yourself, it's more about the team, it's more about the customer. How do I expect, a shipper to put me at the top of their list if we're not fulfilling our word, like they're fulfilling their word to their company?
Yeah.
You order from Walmart doesn't get there tomorrow at 1 o'clock. You're like, man, this company sucks. I'm not ordering from Walmart no more. I'm going to call Best Buy. I'm going to order from Best Buy. Same thing with Freedom. You know, if we tell you we'll have that trailer there by 7 in the morning or 5 in the morning, it'll be there usually 2 hours before our appointed arrival time. And so I always tell my guys, you got a loaded trailer, get there first. You know, get there first. You drop it off. You have an empty trailer. You can stop, eat lunch, do whatever you want on the way back. But, let's make it a priority to beat the traffic, to beat any potential accidents. Let's get there. So, yeah.
And as far as how you ended up in trucking, we discussed some of that, right? Through family, more or less, right?
Right.
That's the gateway that opened your eyes to that.
Well, yes. That was more of I would say the introductory part.
Yeah.
What really pushed me to pursue my life in trucking is some of the events that happened after I went into adulthood.
Yeah.
And, the reason why I came into the trucking business is because a lot of people who know my past, they know who I am. And I'll talk about that a little bit. I made some bad choices, as a teenager. And it led me to a 15-year federal prison sentence as an adult. So, I looked for the fast way out. I had jobs here, Pizza Hut, Magic Mountain, little small jobs, just working around. And, I always see the boss telling people what to do. But I'm a big firm believer that if you're going to be my boss and tell me what to do, I want to see you do it with me, And I didn't like working for bosses and people and being told what to do. I had a problem with, authority, I guess you could say, people who were in positions of entitlement.
Yes.
Some supervisors are really cool. Some supervisors take their positions,
to the head,
way above and beyond. They get a set of keys and a walkie-talkie and they think they own the company. So, and that's a good thing if you're a company owner, you find people who care about your company as much as you do, but sometimes it can push good people away from you. And so, growing up, like I said, I came from a more kind of poverty type family, government welfare, living in government housing apartments and stuff like that. I turned to the streets looking for a fast dollar. And obviously, the older I got, the more people I met, the more I did. At the 3 months after I turned 24, I got incarcerated. And a lot of people like to say, well, you put yourself there. You're absolutely right. It gave me a 15-year prison sentence. And I like to tell people the government didn't give it to me. I gave it to myself. I had options. And I chose the one that I thought was best for me. When I got incarcerated, I kept my mouth shut, took my time, went about my business, did my time. In 2016, I applied for a clemency to President Obama when he was in office. And I remember, being in prison and one of my friends telling me, like, hey, what are you doing, man? I said, I was in the law library. And he says, what are you doing? I said, I'm applying for a clemency petition. Obama's giving these out. He's saying that low-level offenders should be applying. So I did, and he says, oh, man, we're missing The Voice, the show The Voice. And okay. I said, hey, bro, go get your paperwork and I'll file the petition for you, Come on, Holmes, this and that, we're Latino. Obama's not going to do that for us, this and that. And And I said, bro, we got nothing else to lose, man. You know, we just file it.
How much time were you already in there when that came around?
So when I filed the petition, the very first time, I was in for about 10 years and 2 months. And so one of the criteria is that you had to have been incarcerated for at least 10 years.
Oh,
basically, okay. You got, kind of a harsh sentence. The crime doesn't fit the time, but because of mandatory minimums and the United States sentencing guidelines, the judge can't, oh, well, Mr. Gonzalez, you have, 30 letters of recommendation. It's your first time. I think you should get 5 years. It doesn't work like that in federal prison or in federal system. There's pretty much a guideline set. So you can literally think of doing a crime today, grab a sentencing guideline book, look at it, and you'll know what your sentence is going to be before you even commit the crime, because that's the way their rule books are set up. And so
some would think that depending on the lawyer you get, there's a chance. But
so in federal prison, that doesn't work.
Oh.
They have a 97 or 98% conviction rate. And, my lawyer used to tell me there's two types of people in federal prison. Those who did and those who wish they did. So then he would say there's those who told and those who wish they told, right? But there's three types of people. There's those who did, those who wish they did, and those who are happy they didn't do anything. And they're just doing their time and they know what the code of the streets is. If you knew what you were doing before you got into it, you know the consequences, you know what you got to do, then you just do that. And that's the route I took. I ended
Option three.
I ended up taking my time. I fully understood what I did, and I didn't sit there and blame anybody else or anything like that. And so when I filed for the clemency petition in the beginning, it was through a computer. We have core links, and that was just like an automatic, no one was really monitoring it. It was the information you typed in, yes or no. Most people didn't. So then they would send you a letter of denial saying that you can get an attorney to file the petition for you, or you can just file one yourself directly to the office of the pardon of attorney, which is the president. So, me being in prison, running amok, doing my thing, I didn't have money to pay for an attorney, but I've always been a smart person. And so I went to the law library and I sat down and I started reading the law books, and they told me how to file the petition. So I wrote it myself, typed it up, put it in professional form, and, showed a few of my buddies, hey man, this is what I'm sending out, so if you guys see what's going on, or if something happens, this is exactly what I sent out. Cool. I put it in the mail, my homeboy was laughing. Come on, man, we're Latino, he's not going to do that for us. Mm-hmm. Yada, yada, yada. I'm going to go watch The Voice. All right, let me know how that went. After 12 years and 1 month in prison, I had about 26 months left on my sentence. They came and got me one day and told me, hey, they want you in the admin building. I'm thinking I did something wrong, because you're in there, you're always doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. And it's crazy because sometimes out here, it's nothing, you smoke a cigarette, have a drink, it's nothing out here. But if you do that in there, it's violating the rules. And there's a lot of people in there, like, I never understood it. You're already in prison, and then you start telling again. You see other inmates doing shit.
Oh, man.
Hey, man, that guy's smoking cigarettes. That guy's got a cell phone. Like, what the fuck is going through your fucking head? You're already busted, man. Let them do their job. But see, that's the criminal mentality, right?
How so?
Well, the criminal mentality is not the snitching mentality. The criminal mentality is thinking like, why are you fucking telling on people, man? Shut your damn mouth, bro. You fucking see something, you didn't see it. Turn your ass around and walk away,
Yeah.
And so it's crazy because you want to do something so simple in there, right? That out here it's nothing illegal, but in there it's a big violation. And you have to hide from them. Like, you would be surprised, you think, okay, we're in prison, we're a bunch of convicts, nobody's going to tell. No, you got it twisted, bro. There's about 80% of the population will tell given the chance to, and there's about 20% that just keep their mouth shut and ride with the punches.
Is that because they feel left out? Or is that because they want to score some points with the CO?
I've never been on that side of the ball game to tell you what they're thinking when they do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, it's just...
What's your assumption?
I would like to assume jealousy,
Yeah.
You know, or they think, I don't know, I used to tell them, hey man, BOP doesn't hire convicted felons, so stop snitching.
Mm-hmm.
You're already a felon. You're not going to get no brownie points. You're not going home early. You're here. What do you accomplish? And so, but then the other mentality is, well, if you ain't doing shit wrong, you got nothing to worry about. If you're just doing your time. And that's part of the correctional system, right? They call it, federal correctional institutions. Well, the word correction is in there. So at what point do you take advantage of being in somewhere? When you come home from there, society automatically criticizes convicted felons. Oh, well, he's a convicted felon. We can't give you this job, this and that. Well, hold on a second. If I went to a correctional institution, where's my chance to show that I've been corrected? Right? But then when you're in the system, nothing they do is meant to correct you. They offer programs for self-help, but they're not mandatory. So,
okay, if it was really about that, they would emphasize more on that.
And the fact that, like, okay, you got handed the mandatory minimum, you got 10 years, you got 15 or 20 years. No good you do in there is going to get you to come home any sooner than your release date. You can do all the programs you want. This is federal. I can't speak for state. Federal has no probation. No parole. There's no parole board. You're given a sentence, your release date is already in the computer. Oh. Nothing you do can change that unless you told on somebody or something. But even then, your release date is in the computer. And so you can do 50 programs and get 50 certificates. None of that matters for your release date. So you have people in there who they'll do certificates to try to look good, look like they're programming, and that will help you drop to a lower security, right? Lower security level. But at the end of the day, those certificates don't mean nothing for early release or coming home. So if your mentality is that if you're doing these certificates and programs just to look good,
not for yourself,
it's the wrong mentality. Now, if you start going to these programs voluntarily and you're learning a little bit from there and you're trying to take things for what they're worth and you're doing it for yourself and you start maturing as a man and growing and understanding life, then it helps you. But the system isn't set up to help anybody. It's just set up to house a number till their release date and charge taxpayers for what they're paying for.
And they want you to come back?
Pretty much. And when you go through that system, they lie to taxpayers and they tell them, we're doing this, we're doing that. It costs $38,000 a year, $40,000 a year to house an inmate.
I've heard up to $80,000.
Yes. And so why? You're just housing them.
And there's more private prisons than there's schools.
Well, exactly. And so when you look at that and then you look how the system is set up, if they actually had it to where you went to federal prison and there was intense programs, right? They get in, they break your mentality down like a boot camp, this, that. You went through these schools and there was an incentive to change your life to get out early, then that's different. That would actually help people, because if you take somebody who all they know is the life of the streets, both parents are drug addicts, whatever, they come home, they hit the streets,
they're not equipped.
Exactly. They don't know anything else but a life of crime. So for them to go to prison is like a sober camp. They sober up a little bit, and even not then, but there's certain things that I won't talk about, But you come home and you're looking for the same result in the same destination that you were in the first time. And then that's how you get higher recidivism rates and higher return rates to prison, and people, going back and, 3, 4, 5 times coming back. Well, then after three strikes, they strike you out. It's life.
Yeah.
But, as a lawmaker or politicians, you would think that there's a problem in our system. If you went to prison once and didn't get corrected, that's because you just put them in prison. There's nobody really there to make sure, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so even once you're in prison, you can get in trouble. You go to the shoe, the hole they call it.
Yeah.
But as a case manager or a counselor or a unit manager paying attention to someone, oh, you're in the hole again. I'm going to take your phone time. I'm going to take your commissary. You just rebel even more.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. It seems they might come out with a little bit of bitterness, like society looks down on them. Well, you feel like that about me? Well, I'm going to show you then.
Exactly.
You know? And that's where probably that institutionalized word comes from. No, they're more comfortable going back.
Well, you know, it's sad to say, but sometimes it's a little easier to be there than to be in this world, you know, out in the free society.
Okay.
Now, that's the petty thinking mentality, right?
What does that mean, PD?
Like petty?
Oh, petty.
You know,
pity. Well, I thought you were saying
like petty.
like
You know, you
and a D,
start
like,
coming out feeling like pity for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, nobody cares for me. Nobody wants me. I'm going to go back. Well, I mean, look.
What?
3 hot meals, a bed, shower, weights, workout yard, you know, kicking back, watching cable TV, football. Like, I mean, bro, if you're a bum, that's the life.
What about if you have all those certificates? They don't work in there for an early release date, but do they work out here when you have them?
So
like,
I'll be honest with
these,
you.
you know,
I have a stack of certificates.
What did they do for you?
Nobody cared. Nobody out here cares that I have them. Nobody did anything.
Are they valid? Are they an actual certificate? It's not like a perfect attendance certificate, right?
Most of those courses are taught by inmates. And so let's say you have a guy who, you know, federal prison's obviously different type of crime from state crimes, right? It's more about, you know, government crimes. Yeah. So let's say you have a guy who, you know, he was doing like an investing firm and he got caught with Ponzi schemes and he did his thing and he owes $11 million. Well, the guy knows how to make money. So what does he do? He goes to prison and he sees all these courses. Hey, I want to teach these guys investing. You know, this is what I did. And the counselor will look at his file and say, okay, well, he did make $11 million. So now you got this guy teaching you how to write a resume, right? As a convicted felon. Now you got these guys who are teaching you how to use money and invest in stocks and crypto and, you know, whatnot, whatever the way of the world is, right? And so it's like, how do you really check the credibility of what another convicted felon is teaching you? And so he's doing that to look good. So the counselors will give him a good bed or whatever.
Yeah, that's just them getting the most for their buck because they're not investing in a real professor.
Correct. And if you were really doing that, if you were really about that life, you wouldn't be here. So sometimes it takes for you to go there to realize what you did or what kind of influence you have towards people, you know? And when you get there and you learn about that stuff, then you're like, oh, okay. But to think that another man in the same uniform as me is teaching me something, you can sit there and listen and take it for what it's worth. You don't have to listen to everything. Take bits and pieces of information.
Yeah.
Do your own homework. Study yourself. If you take a little bit from that man, a little bit from this man, a little bit from that man, a little bit from that man, and you go back and you start listening to what people are talking about, you know, you start thinking and you're like, okay, well, you know what? Eventually you start to change the way you think. And most people in federal prison, they sit there every day and plot, think, and brainstorm how they're going to make money when they come home. And, you know, interestingly enough, a lot of people who I know today and still talk to that have been released, they're doing well, legit. So you learn your lesson, you know, and not everybody's going to do that. But some people come home with the right idea. And I tell people, you want to fight each other for a job that pays $100 a month in prison, but you won't go out there and work for $20 an hour? Ooh. You come to prison and you want to be big and bad because you want the commissary job. You want the laundry job because it pays $100 a month or $200 a month to your books. But you won't come out here and work for $20 an hour when you got kids to feed? You know?
Yeah, like they're not down with minimum wage. It's offensive.
Correct. You know? You got guys in there, they argue and fight about sports. Kobe had 40 points this game. You know, Shaq had so many slam dunks and, you know, homeboy from the Dodgers had, you know, so many home runs and RBIs. Hey, homeboy, can you tell me what your kid's favorite color is? But interesting, you know all this about a sports star who does nothing for you.
Shit.
And so when I started to see stuff like that in there, That's when I started to change my mentality.
So a lot of your learning was through observation as well. Like,
Absolutely.
how come you guys don't get it?
Absolutely.
And right there, obviously, you got to keep that to yourself, right?
Well,
Some stuff. Or your road dogs,
you could say what you want to somebody, anything you want, but there's repercussions.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to be careful how you say something.
Okay.
You can approach them in a way like, "Hey, bro, you're my boy, and I'm your friend. I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You know, and may I talk to you? You know, with all due respect. Oh yeah, sure, go ahead.
Respect is big in there, huh? Like,
yes, absolutely, 100%. But if you come to somebody and you just criticize him, like you just made him the laughing stock of his boys, of course you're gonna create an incident.
Well, that's what they say. Praise in public and criticize in private.
In private or in silence, you know.
Yeah.
So you know when you start to see certain things in there, it starts to change the way you think. I lived for this before. And I started thinking every birthday that comes along, all my homeboys that I was trying to impress on the streets, there was no letters. There was no Christmas cards. There was no birthday cards. Nobody stopped by my mom's house to ask her how she was doing, if she needed rent paid or if she had the light bill paid. But yet when we were running amok, my mom's doors were open. When my mom cooked, we were all at my dinner table eating. Now that I'm gone, nobody cares. You know, I said, look, like I said, I did it to myself. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you start to see those types of things and you ask yourself, well, if I got a release date when I come home, am I going to go home trying to impress these fools again? Absolutely not. You know, every Sunday, my mom was in the visiting room. Every Sunday, my mom was in that visiting room, no matter where I went around the country. Yet, I'm not concerned about impressing her. I'm concerned about impressing these bozos. So I started thinking that. And, you know, where it really hit home is when my mom sat down next to me one day and asked me in the visiting room. She showed up crying, and I thought to myself, damn, you know, who died? And she said, I want to talk to you. And I said, what's going on, Mom? You know, I'm sitting here thinking, you know, the worst. And she said to me, where did I go wrong as a mother? You know, I worked 2 jobs to give you everything you need. You know, where did I go wrong? You know, how did you end up here? And it was a hard pill for me to swallow, but I had to let her know, like, Mom, you did right. You taught me right from wrong. I graduated high school on stage. I got a diploma. I chose this lifestyle. You didn't do nothing wrong. You did your job, you know? And I had to tell her that so she could be peace, you know, have peace of mind. And, you know, it was a hard one, but when she asked me that and I saw her crying, I thought to myself, I would kill a man for disrespecting my mom. I would kill somebody for hurting my mom. I would kill somebody for making my mom cry. Mm. Yet here I am doing that to her. And so when I got the chance to go back and sit there and think, you know, you do a lot of thinking inside.
I bet.
And so much that your mind will play tricks on you sometimes. And so that's why they say it's survival of the fittest. And so with that being said, I started to ask myself, man, you're blessed to still have your parents in here. I saw the chaplain come, take many people to the office. They come back, their mom died, their dad died while they're still in prison. You can't come out, you can't say nothing. You can't show your last respects to your parents because you're not there. You made a choice that put you here. And that's a selfish choice. You know, we all wake up every day and we have a choice. The choice you make is the choice that's going to drive your future or your destiny or the end of your day.
Yeah, just by waking up. That's the chance and the choice.
Exactly. So I just, you know, took that chance to start thinking about what I really wanted in life. And, you know, I had a few people who looked up to me, and people would talk to me all the time and tell me, man, you're smart, man. What are you doing in here? And I started thinking, like, well, if I'm going to have people looking up to me, I'm going to be a positive influence to them. I know what failure's like. I got the Super Bowl ring of failure.
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to have people looking up to me, I'm not going to guide them down a path I would want someone to guide my kids down. I'm going to lead them through intelligence and empowerment and let them know that, hey, you have this skill in this area, but if you take that skill and apply it to a legit world, think like that. You manage guys on the streets. Why can't you manage people in a workplace? If you can command respect from a herd of wolves inside or on the streets, why can't you command respect from a bunch of people who are looking for someone to teach them? And so I started changing that mentality. And this is where we are today. When I came home, I took advantage. So you asked me how I got into trucking. I started thinking about it. Well, if you're moving weight on the streets, trucking, you're moving truckloads. Same concept.
Yeah.
Right? Business mentality. Instead of moving trunk loads, I'm moving truckloads. Right? Doesn't matter what the product is. This product is legit. That's not. But the concept is the same. You arrange transportation. You arrange, an arrival time. Yeah. It's kind of the same way. And when I first came home, I went to a halfway house. I got immediate release, back to that whole clemency thing.
What's a halfway house?
So a halfway house is what they call a re-entry center. It helps you reintegrate into society after you've been gone for so long. So you get there and they help you transition into society. They keep you in there for 7 days, blackout period. When you pass those 7 days, they say, okay, now you need to go get your driver's license. So you can't go nowhere until you go get your driver's license.
Your ID, all that good
stuff. Now
you
have that. Okay, now you earned yourself a 8-hour pass on Saturday to go home and see your family. And so they teach you accountability. A lot of people think it's stupid, right? Why do I got to come here? This and that. But in all reality, bro, it helped me. It really did. Because if I was just thrown in the streets.
Yeah, that's what I thought it happens. That happens. Your release date is released literally into the street.
It happens. Yeah. About 75% of the people who come home from federal prison will come home to a halfway house. The other 25% max their date out. They chose not to take halfway house. They just ran their time. They come home.
Oh, okay.
My opinion, they must know there's something special, that they don't need the help. But I knew that I needed help. I didn't have clothes. I didn't have anything to come home to. And so when I came home with the clothes that was on my back. My prison shorts, prison T-shirt, pair of tennis shoes from the commissary, prison boxers, and a prison beanie. That's all I had when I came home. Of course, I didn't know I was coming home right then and there. They gave me when I filed that petition, they came and got me 8 months later. And they told me to go to the office. And I went to the office. And I thought something was wrong at home with my family, or I was in trouble, or they found some contraband in my locker. And I just remember, it was funny. I walked in the office and I saw all the people who are in front of you when you get in trouble, right? Oh, counselor, case manager, unit manager, the prison inspectors or the SIS or, whatever, prison police, whatever, the warden. They're all standing there, arms crossed behind, I got to see this. Give us your ID. Yeah, sure, here you go. I give them my ID. What's your name and number? Come on, man, you guys know who I am, Let's cut the BS out. What am I here for? Well, we have to read you an email verbatim. Fair enough. My name, my inmate number. And then they start reading me something, an email saying that, on such date, I was indicted on such charges, this and that. Only thing that was going through my mind was probably damn, I'm getting re-indicted. They're adding charges to me.
So that adds time to your sentence.
I thought that's what they were doing, And then finally, they get to the part of the email that says, at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, President Obama has commuted your sentence, granted you clemency, and everything after that just went foreign language to me, just.
That's all you had to hear. Yeah.
They said, you have any questions? I said, what does that mean? They said, you got 20 minutes to go in there and pack your bags to get out this property, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, no way, they're playing with me, It was December 9th, 2016. And my mom was supposed to come see me for Christmas. So she didn't know I was coming home. Nobody knew. It was just a surprise. Mm-hmm. And, the whole time that I was in there, I was calling my cousin and telling him, hey, bro, get your trucking license, man. Get your trucking license. They hire convicted felons. We'll do trucking when we get out, And he was already home. And so he's my co-defendant. And he kept saying, "Oh, I work for the union. I make so much money, union gang,
Yeah.
Gang money, the whole thing. All the union guys think, they get a hard hat and a lunchbox with a bunch of cool stickers on them, and
Yeah.
no disrespect to anybody who works the union life, but you know their mentality,
But
right?
he was good where he was at, so you were just persuading him into
Correct.
something he didn't know of at the moment.
Exactly. So when I came home, after that little incident in the office, I did my little tour. I walked out of there, and all my boys were like, "Bro, you're on the news, you're on the internet, this and that. You're going home." And I saw my boy that who told me, "Hey man, you're missing the voice." And I looked at him and I just kind of gave him a wink, right? And I said, imagine if you would have filed with me. Can't believe it, man. He had 22 years, so he still had about 8 years left when that happened, and it could have been him, But he was, like I said, the mentality.
You even offered though.
Correct, and that's what I'm talking about. The mentality in there. You can be who you want to be. You can sit there and watch TV all day, or you can educate yourself. The choice is yours. Mm-hmm. They're not going to force you to do something. It's your choice.
Yeah, they already secured the bag. It's like
exactly
on you now.
So when I went home, I gave everything to everybody, and they drove me up to R&D and said, "Hey man, like
R&D
receiving and discharge."
Okay. Yeah.
R&D is receiving and discharge.
I'm like, yeah, R&D,
and,
sure.
I had a couple of guards and a unit manager come up there. One of them said, "I personally got to see this, man. I can't believe you're finally going home." And he said to me, "Hey, you'll be back."
Wow, how nice, how encouraging.
And this is the government that we trust today.
Yeah.
Okay, government employees. He says, "You'll be back. I know you'll be back. And when you come back, you're not going to have a bottom bunk. You're going to have a top bunk by the door, by the bathrooms, hearing the toilets flush all night." All right, sir. Have it your way. At the end of the day, my chapter ends here. You're a lifer just like me. You get up and come here every day. So my sentence is over. You still come to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I come home. I hit the halfway house, man. And, the case manager asked me, "What do you want to do?" And I said, eventually I want to be a truck driver. But they wouldn't let me get my Class A license because you're still sort of confined to the halfway house, and they control your movement.
Yeah.
I got a quick job, man. And after that quick job, we were doing movie events, red carpet building, putting up the cages, building tents and stages. And I started talking to a couple guys that were truck drivers, and they were telling me how much money they made. And it just reassured me that that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So after asking a few guys, about trucking and stuff, I started to do my homework. I realized, today's society, everybody has a cell phone, and everybody's looking at their cell phone. What are you doing on your phone? Your phone is a tool. Most people use it for social media, communication. "Oh my God, my friend went to Puerto Rico. Look at the life they're living." But nobody ever posts their struggles.
Yeah.
And so...
"You ain't shit. You should take me."
Exactly. So, I used my phone to do a little bit of research, looked into the trucking school, whatnot. I finally talked my cousin into going to the school, and he had blessed me when I came home. He gave me $5,000. He got out 5 years before me, and he put that money aside because he said he knew I was going to struggle when I needed help coming home.
Because you went through it, or what?
Well, he was my co-defendant.
Yeah.
He got a 10-year sentence, and I got 15.
Oh, okay.
So when he came home, he had that money put aside for me. And
that's what you meant earlier by co-defendant. Co-defendant is the person you went in with.
Your crime mate.
You had the same case or something.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So I talked him into going to the trucking school because he started to see the politics in the union. People were like, come Friday. We just experienced this, right? Come Friday. Yeah. If you're not part of the cool crowd, if you're not over there, kissing your boss's ass and, "Hey boss, let's go out for drinks on Friday, I'll pay for it," and you're trying to be a part of the cool crowd. If you're the guy who just wants to do your job and go home, you're looked down upon, right? Because the union's like a brotherhood. And so, these guys, they go and do their thing. We saw this on Friday. Last week, we went out to lunch, and we saw a bunch of union guys acting stupid, Very clearly, you could tell they were union guys, And, they were just a whole part of the crowd. And so my cousin was that guy who just wanted to do his job and go home. He didn't go to work for friends.
Yeah.
He went to work to pay his bills. And so they kind of looked down upon him for that, and he felt it. And he's smart. That guy can build you a building in a month by himself. Finally, he says, you know what, man, I'll give it a try. And so we went to trucking school, and he had a little bit of money put away. And he put the money up for both of us. And once we got our licenses, I had been asking my bosses, for raises and my jobs. Mind I tell you, I never missed a day of work. I never missed, never showed up late, volunteered to do work nobody wanted to do. I asked for a raise, and the guy told me, hey, man, you're a convicted felon. You should be happy you have a job. And
that sounds offensive as fuck.
Well, it was, and it bothered me. And so I
especially because you did your time, right? It's like, what
well,
now?
And the president let me out of prison.
Yeah.
If the president believes in second chances, who the fuck are you to judge me?
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I really got offended.
Yeah.
And so I asked him, I said, hey, man, what happens if I get my Class A license? And he says, well, I'll put you in for a $2 raise. I was making $16 an hour at the time. I said, $18, that's not bad. So I started talking to the guys in the warehouse that I worked with and told them, hey, man, I'm going to go get my trucking license. A couple of my friends, oh, you're going to be a super truckero,
Yeah, super trucker.
You're going to be a super trucker. You think trucking's going to save your life and this and that. And, who wants to drive big trucks all day and sit in traffic? And one guy, he's like, hey, what do you think trucking's going to do for you? And I said, man, honestly, it's going to change my life. And he says, I said, why don't you come with me? He says, oh, I've been here 5 years. I said, how much money and raises have you gotten in 5 years? Oh, well, hopefully this year I'll get a 50-cent raise. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And, nobody wanted to do the trucking thing. Me and my cousin did it together. We got our license. I came back and I said, hey, boss, I got my Class A license. Oh, let me get it. I'll put it in for you. Hopefully in a month I'll get you a $1 raise. What happened to that $2 raise? Oh, well, that takes time. Well, here. This paper's for you. You don't need a copy of my license. I gave him a 2-week notice. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, I have a week vacation time and a week sick time. I won't be back past tomorrow. I want my week vacation time and I want my week sick time cashed out. There's my 2-week notice. Hey, what do you mean, man? Sit down. Let's have a beer. No, we're not going to have a beer. We're not friends. It's the last time I let somebody tell me how much money I'm worth. What do you mean I'm a convicted felon? I served my time. Right? I educated myself. I'm trying to change my life. I'm trying to better my life. And you want to hold the conviction on my head. You're not even a judge. Well, I've been working here 27 years and I barely make $80,000 a year.
That's your story, bro. If
that's all you're worth and that's all you're allowing someone to tell you what you're worth, when I start my company, I'll come back and hire you to run my company for $85,000 a year. And he said, oh. Anyways, so I got my license and that's kind of how I got into trucking.
Amazing story.
And I cut a lot of stuff out, for the purpose of time, but
yeah.
you pretty much get the message on how I got into trucking.
Yeah.
And now my mentality.
You gave yourself a raise.
Right. And
fuck that guy.
That's how I got into it, right? I started looking on websites of what they pay Class A drivers and stuff like that. And when I looked at it, I thought, I kept telling my cousin, hey, we'll give ourselves a raise. This is all the money we have, but we'll invest in this, and it's like giving ourselves a raise. So if you're making $15, $16 an hour working for a company, and you only have $3,000 or $4,000 in your bank account, spend it. Get into trucking school, even if it's the last dollar you have, because guess what? As soon as you get your license, the first job you get, you gave yourself anywhere from a $7 to $10 raise.
Yeah.
You go from $15, $16 an hour to $22 to $26 to $30 an hour, depending where you work and your experience. But you immediately give yourself a raise, just like that.
It's a good investment.
Right. You got a lot of guys on the street thinking, if I had $5,000, I'd buy this. I could make this much off of this. And listen, take that same money and go to a trucking school and get your Class A license. You'll give yourself a raise.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that happened.
What's your guys' favorite part about trucking?
Open road. To be honest, I mean that's what it is. It's for me. It's open road.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when we went to pick up the newest truck that we have. Just driving back, honestly, was so relaxing. Being out of state, you know, I love that, honestly. You know, we stopped in every single steakhouse on the way from Alabama.
You're eating good now, huh?
I gained 10 pounds from that trip.
It's your fault, man.
Well, you know, it's
That's a good problem to have, I guess.
when someone gives you that, you know, that type of work ethic, you know, you gotta reward them somehow, some way, you know.
Yeah.
Some people make good money working for us because they work longer routes and they get paid good. You know, some people make less money. He might accept less money, but he's willing to learn to better his future. So, you know, this guy might make more money driving. He's a manager. He might make less money than that guy, but he's willing to do the work other people don't want to do. And so for me, the best part of trucking, or what I like about trucking, I would have to say, is the freedom. You know, I spent too much time behind walls and, you know, inside four walls. And, you know, I'm also a licensed barber. You know, I have a 4,000-hour commercial cook apprenticeship that I acquired from inside. I did a lot of things to make sure I had a good opportunity for myself when I came home, in case somebody said no, then I can go do this. But when I figured out the trucking part of it,
That was it.
well, you know, I joke a lot, right? And so, I don't know, you know, for people who are going to watch this podcast in the future, how many times did a teacher tell you, hey, pay attention, quit staring out the window, nobody's going to pay you to stare out the window?
Yeah.
You lied. You lied to us, because we get paid to literally stare out the window. And you got the air conditioner on. You got, you know, the music of your choice. You're alone. No one's bothering you. It's just like you're getting paid to
Chill.
just be out and about and kind of have fun.
Sometimes I don't feel like you're chilling, though. I mean,
Yeah.
it takes a toll sometimes, but I get your point.
You know?
Yeah.
And so the freedom for me is what I like the most about trucking. And I really do. Some people like building lowriders. Some people like building off-road cars. Some people have hobbies. I like taking these $200,000 semi-trucks and decking them out to where even a person who doesn't drive a truck looks at it and says, damn, that's a bad truck, you know?
That's your thing.
Yeah.
Customizing them.
Customizing them, you know, for the drivers. I like my drivers to look good, feel good when they're working,
Yeah.
you know? And
Pride.
my idea behind that is that, you know, no disrespect to anybody who's got Volvos and Cascadias and, you know, Freightliners and stuff out there, but you see one of my drivers at a gas station, you're a small business owner and you're trying to recruit my driver to work for you. You're offering him a lower pay. And my driver says, what do you want me to drive? Oh, you know, this is what we drive. You want me to get out of this to get into that? No, I'm sorry. You know, we're not going to do that. And that's my idea is, you know, like I said, you know, treat my people, and I don't consider them employees, you know, I consider them a family. And I say, treat my people how I wanted to be treated when I was working for a company. And so I don't, you know, this guy will tell you, people call me, hey, boss, if you call me boss one more time, I'm going to fire your ass.
I had another guy. He don't like that. Why don't you guys like being called boss?
Well, in prison, you know, you call the guards bosses and
Okay.
stuff like that, but there's an idea behind it, right?
Yeah,
you know, boss is short for big old sack of shit.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
Or, you know, big old son of a bitch or something. You know, it's kind of a acronym form of disrespecting them.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you're right, boss. You're right, you big old piece of shit or big old sack of shit, you know.
Okay.
And so for me, it's like that, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't like these guys to call me boss, because at the end of the day, they're their own boss. They get up, they come to work. They do the driving. They write their own paycheck. Give me what you want in work, in return for money, right? All I do is write your paycheck.
Yeah.
And so essentially, I don't, like I said earlier, I don't treat them like I'm a boss. You know, I treat them like some of these guys think they own the truck. You know, we got one guy telling him, hey, I want to take this truck with my own money and go put all these lights on it, like the Nogaleros, you know? I want the truck to look nice with all these lights on the side and this and that. I mean, he's willing to spend money out of his own pocket, you know? That's how much he likes his job.
Yeah.
So pretty much, you know, but yeah, that's where we get to with the enjoying the what I enjoy about the job.
Thanks for sharing. We've talked before, and I'm aware that you give people chances, like, you know what I mean, like the industry gave you.
Correct.
Trucking. So you want to share with the audience what how that came about? You hiring other convicted felons? Is that disrespectful? What's the way to say it? Like,
that's society's way of saying it.
Yeah. So what's the appropriate way?
You know, there is no appropriate way. It's just how you take offense to what people say. You can be ignorant and be offended by it, or you can take it and know that that's what made you who you are today.
Okay.
And, you know, when we got our trucking license, I went to work for a couple different companies, and they would tell me, don't tell people you're a convicted felon. That's not what we want, you know? First of all, I'm transparent. If you ask me what my work history has been for the last 10 years, I mean, what do you want me to tell you if I've been in prison for the last 12 years? I'm going to be honest with you, you know? For me, when I talk to people, if you can be honest with me, then I can respect that. And it shows me that you're not hiding anything, so you're not going to hide something from me if you work for me. And a lot of these people would tell me, oh, don't tell people you're a convicted felon, you know, you scare people if you tell them that and this and that. And I used to tell them, but like, boss, that's my story.
Yeah.
That's what makes me who I am, you know? And honestly, had I never been incarcerated, I'd probably be dead or serving life. And so the fact that I did have a lengthy sentence and I was able to see the bad and the good and where it can take you, I analyzed it. And I said, that's not what I want. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And so I share my story with people so they know it's okay. There's a lot of people out there today who have a felony background. And if you bottle up your feelings, if you bottle up your emotions and you can't talk about it, some people don't have a strong mind. And so it'll kill their mentality. Their conscience gets at them. And they start to bottle up emotions and they feel like they just have to act out. Like, well, hell, nobody wants to hire me because I'm a felon. I'm just going to go back to the streets and start selling drugs. I'm going to go breaking into homes. I'm going to go rob a bank, you know? It's like, hold on a second. I realize that
it's easy to go back to that.
It is. And you know that if you get caught, it's not, you know, you're going back to three meals and a cot. You know, you got a bed, you got someone doing your laundry, you know, you got someone working for you.
And you already know the politics.
Correct.
You know how to navigate.
You know, so it's just easy to give up. It's easier to fail than it is to succeed. Mm-hmm. And the problem that I faced when I came home is that there was nobody there to create a bridge from me to come from incarceration back into society. And that's why we have a high recidivism rate. And so I realized if you can live in a prison cell for 20 years, you can live in the bunk of a $250,000 Peterbilt and go home and come back to your truck and go home and come back to your truck. It's like a king-size prison cell.
Yeah.
You know, and you got AC. Mm-hmm. Some trucks have the TVs, the refrigerators, you know, it's leather seats, Bluetooth. Yeah. And so I realized that was a problem for a lot of people coming home. And when I see people, I don't like to brag about what I do. I like to lead by example. And so I have a lot of friends that when they come home, they see me, they find me on social media and they say, hey, my boy, I see you're doing trucking. How do I get into that? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to help you, but don't waste my time. You know, all that other shit you were doing that God has put in there, let's forget about that. That's not us today. It made us who we are today, but that's not us. Use the same discipline that you used of getting up at 4:30 in the morning, brushing your teeth, your clothes look clean, you're pressed up, you're clean cut. You get up, you go to work, you work out, you're disciplined. Yeah. Use that same discipline in this, and it's gonna give you what you give it. What you put into it, you'll get back.
Yeah.
I got a guy who did 22 years in prison, man. And he's another ace deuce. He's not here. He drives, but he did 22 years in prison, man. And all he knows is a life of crime. And today, I don't take credit for his success. I created an opportunity for people like him to walk down, right?
Yeah.
There's many paths in life that have already been paved. And so people wake up, I want to do this. Well, the path is there for you. I like to pave a path that's unpaved so that other people can follow me. And I'll guide you the right way. And today, that guy, he's got his little house. He's getting married. He got some beautiful truck. He's got his Frenchies. He's living a good life.
Fuck yeah.
And, he can have his beer. He works Monday through Friday. And that goes back to freedom. He's a big role player in our company. He was our very, very first, not him. I keep the name withheld.
Yes.
But if you're watching, you know who you are. He's a very good individual and loyal. He came to our company and said, hey, would you guys hire me? Well, at that time, me and my cousin had one truck. We didn't think about hiring anybody. So we went out and looked for a used truck, bought the truck, gave it to him. He worked, and he did work that nobody wanted to do. Of course, we pay very generous, and we took care of him. So he never did anything that he didn't get paid for. But I met him inside, and he was, he was and still is one of the most loyalist persons that I've met till this day. And inside, he was loyal. He very honest with me. We spoke. A lot of people didn't get along with him because they were afraid of him. But it was more that he didn't want to deal with fake people. And so people were like, how do you get along with that guy? Simple. Respect. Game recognizes game. And when, I came home, he came home. He wanted to get his license. We helped him get his license. We helped him get a job. Then we got a truck. He started working for us. We got the truck for him. And so the company began. And he started training people. And he was our first guy. And we learned a lot through trial and error with him. But today, the guy's blessed, and he wants his own opportunities, and we create that opportunity, Right now, the economy with the fuel is bad and stuff. But, he wants to get his own thing going. And I'm here to help him because he helped us.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. If you just come with me 1 or 2 months and you think you're going to trample over my feet, that's a different story. But he's put the work in, and he does what nobody else wants to do. And that's fine. He deserves that opportunity. Who else would give that opportunity? Not very many people.
No.
When you come home, nobody wants to hire people like us, and they're, this and that. But by me hiring these guys, I'm showing them a better way of life. I'm showing them what many people aren't willing to show us. They don't want to guide us that way. People want us to fail. Oh my God, he's a convicted felon. I don't want that guy living next door to me. I could tell you plenty of stories. I could go on for hours about people
discrimination,
people reading the wrong book. I walk into a restaurant dressed in basketball shorts and a t-shirt, right? Everyone else is in a suit and tie. Got this guy looking at me, and it's, cheapest plate is $60. I got this guy looking at me with his wife. Are you in the wrong restaurant? This and that. Blah, blah, blah. He's got his cufflinks rolled up, gold watch, chain, looking all, And, he's asking me some real dumb questions. When I was done, I looked at the waiter and I said, hey, I'll take everybody's tab in here. And she said, you do what? And, that's a few $1,000s. I said, I'll take everybody's tab in here. She said, okay, not a problem. Are you sure? Absolutely. Whoever's in the store right now eating at this tables, I'll take their tabs. And
fuck yeah.
I paid for that tab, and I left her a tip that most people wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
You know, or dream of leaving. You know, some people don't make that tip in a month. You know, that paycheck in a month. And when I got up and left, you know, I looked at that guy and I told him, hey, man, next time you walk into a library and you see a book, look at the inside before you judge that book. You know, you work for somebody. You're in a suit and tie.
Fucking fire.
Ask him.
Fire.
Oh, yeah.
You're in a suit and tie. Your boss is at home dressed like me. You work for somebody. Just because you're a manager of a company in a suit and tie and you make $90,000 a year and you think you're doing something special sitting at a table with your wife, you know, and you look at me, bro, I'll write your boss's paycheck, you know. But the thing about me is that I've been through the situation I've been through, which keeps me humble. I don't need to dress fancy. I don't need to show people that I'm a boss. I know I'm a boss.
But if they want to fuck around and find out.
And you know, that's what he did. And so when he asked me,
love it. I love it.
If I was in the wrong restaurant, his wife laughed with him. But how did I come back? I paid for both their tables and everybody else in that restaurant. You know, and I left and I felt good about it. I didn't do it because I wanted to impress him. I did it because he read the wrong book.
I'm sure he won't forget that.
You understand what I'm saying? And so next time he looks at somebody, he's not going to see them the same. And sometimes you got to do things like that in life so that people don't look at us. And it's not the first time I've done it. Yeah. You know, he's with me at least 5 days a week.
I think what you have is that you can't stand, like, when people look down on the underdog. Like,
correct.
You know what I mean? Because you know that feeling, like,
well,
of wanting to be something and no one fucking believes, you know?
You know, here's the thing. For somebody like that guy, he judged me. He works for somebody. He's got a good job. He's making 90, 100,000 a year. Power to you. But I bet you that man still cannot afford to live next to his boss. His boss doesn't pay him enough money to live next door to him. Can you afford to live next door to me?
Yep.
Can any of my drivers afford to live next door to me?
Hopefully.
My point exactly.
I mean, we literally live 5 minutes from each other.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So, you understand? And the reason why I like to give the convicted felons a chance is because they literally are good people. I've met good people.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people that made bad choices. That's all.
They're misguided. They didn't have someone guiding them. And when you meet them inside, you think, man, this isn't really a bad person. Sure, we made some bad choices. But if this person had a little more guidance, could actually do a lot. And so I've literally built our company. My cousin and I have built this company with, for the most part, with the exception of a few guys, with people that no one would look twice at. You understand what I'm saying? People who would be struggling had no one given them an opportunity. And we've built this company. This company has been successful, and we've grown faster than most companies have who have been in existence in 5 years. And they see that, and I credit them, and I tell them, they say, man, you do a lot. Look, man, I provide the opportunities, but these guys did it for us. You know, they do it for themselves. They do it for us. And without them, we couldn't be who we are. A lot of bosses have that mentality. Oh, fire them. Doesn't work like that. People are human. They have problems. They have things going on at home. They have, you know, and if you can't relate to them and help them, then you're just doing more damage to them. But if you can relate to them and understand that they have problems and they're human just like you, and you help them, you'd be surprised how far their loyalty will come back to you.
I mean, we've all sold, one thing that he told me, if we break you, we're not just going to leave you like that. It's, you know, we're going to break you and make you even better. So honestly, I mean, we've done that with a couple guys, and I'm not even going to lie. That one of the guys that I deal with the most, best driver. One of the best drivers that we have right now. And we broke him. We literally broke him to the point where he was like, I'm going to quit. And I told him, I'm like, you quit on me? I'm like, don't even bother talking to me again. Because me and him, we're close, you know, we're close. So after that, he tried, and honestly, right now, he's the one that goes over the road, does everything, doesn't call at all, if here and there, like every driver. But besides
Just to see if are we good, because this is not normal.
Yeah, exactly. But besides that, best driver we have. And he's at pretty much at the point where he's gonna buy his own house soon too. So it's like, how he says, we break people to make them even better.
That's how you end up with the what do you call it? Lost my. You weed them out, I could say, or that's how you know the tough ones stay. The other you
Right.
like I forgot how to say it.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
This guy, he literally, so he got a Class A license, and he was driving for a trash company, picking up the little dumpsters that with the fork dumpsters over the top. And he asked me, "Hey man, I got my Class A license, but I don't have truck driving experience." I said, "Don't worry, we'll teach you." Seriously? Keep in mind, he worked for a trash company that's union, right? Union gang, boss money, union money. I like to repeat that because I laugh when I see that a lot, and I hear people bragging about it. But power to everyone who's.
If it works for them.
Yeah, if it works for you, I'm not gonna knock you for it. But every time I get a chance to say that, I like to say that. There's an insight to that too. But so this guy, he came in and we put him through some training, and he called me in the middle of the night. I answered the phone. I said, "Damn, he crashed already."
Damn.
Right? I saw the phone call at 2 a.m. He's like, "I can't do this. I want to jump out of the truck. I'm having anxiety." And and I said to myself, like, "Hey, bro, that truck has absolutely no brains. It does everything you tell it to do. So get a grip on yourself first, and then get a grip on the truck." And then the guy who was training him calls me and says, "Hey, do I get hazard pay? This guy's trying to jump out of the truck, bro. He wants to jump out of the truck, and he's grabbing onto everything." And in the morning he called me and he says, "Hey man, I don't think I can do this. This isn't for me, man. Maybe I'm gonna go back to the trash." And again, I'm close to the guy. And I told him, "Hey man, if you don't get a grip on yourself, I'm going to slap you in the back of the head as hard as I can, I said, "I'm going to take my 2 fists to you, bro, and I'm just going to let you have it." And he says, "Why would you do that?" And I said, "So you can think about something else other than jumping out of a truck."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, okay, whoa." And I said, "He knows I'll do it, And I told him, I said, "You're going to get back in that truck. You're going to get a fucking grip on yourself. You're going to come to terms on what you're doing and think about where you want your life to go." I said, "And we're here to help you. So if you need me to go sit in that truck with you while the trainer's training you, I'll do it. Because I won't ask anybody to do anything I haven't done already or I'm not willing to do myself." And he says, "Okay." And I said, "And if you quit, don't ever talk to me again, man." I said, "Because I know there's more to you than this." And I told him, in 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to be laughing at yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? You're going to look back at this incident and you're going to laugh.
Be more comfortable in the truck than in your personal vehicle, man.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And he says to me, just a couple months ago, I said, "Hey, man, remember when you were trying to do this?" He says, "Oh, yeah, man." But it was funny because 3 weeks after that incident, I put somebody in the truck with him and I told Jesse, "You know what? We're going to let him train somebody." And, because I believe in him. And so now he's talking to the guy like he's been trucking for 20 years and he's only been trucking for 3 months.
Wait a minute, bro. I heard you wanted to jump out the truck. When you started, you need to chill.
Yeah. So, anyways, he turned out to be
it's like easy,
right.
Easy peasy.
And so the thing that I enjoy is when these guys, they're out there. He has his own life. He has his own life. My other boy has his own life. When people ask him, like, "Hey, man, you're doing good, man. How are you doing it?" Trucking. We breed drivers. People are out there trying to steal drivers from other companies. I'm breeding drivers. I'm building drivers. I'm creating them. I take people who ask about it and I say, "Hey, if you're interested, come on, we'll do a ride along. I'll show you what we do." And they come back, "Hey, what do I got to do to get my license?" Well, if I can get you in using Department of Rehabilitation funding because you're on probation or you're a convicted felon, I'll get you into the school paid for. But if not, I'll pay for it out of my pocket. but you got to drive for me for a year.
Yeah.
You still get your paycheck, but if you leave, I take the money out of your check that I paid for the school, you know?
Talking about that, we got a guy that called yesterday about that.
See? You know? You see
no ads. No
ads. And it's just through word of mouth, you know?
I think that's just the blessings coming back, because, like, you give, you receive, you know?
Right.
And you don't do it out. You've had the experience, you lived it, so you do it wholeheartedly. Right. And I think that's what makes all the difference versus people, like, want to make you come with a bonus, you know, like, we got this for you, we got that. Like,
I'll show you all those messages.
The bigger the bonus, I think the more bullshit you got to deal with.
The company.
Yep. So it's like,
on the way over here, just got
for that bonus, you know.
Right now, on the way over here, I got 2 messages on my phone right now. Want to come work for us? You know, we'll give you a bonus.
Yeah. I'm here for the $10,000 bonus. Oh, sure. It's $500 every week.
Right.
And, if you leave earlier than that, you owe us back.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what the fuck. But
yeah.
There's never as good as it sounds.
The biggest thing is with us, we know who's with us. You know, you go work for bigger companies. Again, you know, no names for legal purposes and stuff. But you go work for bigger companies and, you know, oh, we're glad to have you. You're going to be a professional driver through, you know, training and orientation. 2 months later, you're stuck in Ohio at a gas station with, you know, ice on your windshield, and you can't even get off to use the restroom because it's so cold. And you call dispatch, and they're like, "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm Mr. Gonzalez." "Gonzalez, what's your driver number?" You know, "Oh, how can I help you?" Like, they don't even know who they're talking to. My guys, they know where I live. They've got my personal number. They've got the work number. They can get a hold of me at any time of night. You know, they'll call me and tell me they had a breakdown. I'll get up out of my bed and drive out there to wherever they're at and make sure that they're okay. You know, they're parked on the side of the road. I'll show up to the truck with food and drinks for you, and
that's all true.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I'll
all
show
true.
up with food and drinks and tell
So
you.
the other episode, the buddy kept looking at him like,
No, it's all true.
Roadside service is on its way, and I'll make sure that you're either rolling back on the road or that you're on your way back to the yard with the truck. You know,
that's great.
I mean, we had an accident almost like a month ago, right? And
Fired.
No, I mean,
no,
it happens. You know, it's not like he did on purpose, but I was on my way back home. I was about to turn on my street when Rick called me. He told me, he was like, "Hey, the guy's on the side of the freeway. Don't worry, I'll be there." I got there in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I mean, just literally just to check if the guy was good. That's
you're
it.
not alone when you work with us.
Yeah, and I told him, if you don't feel good, let me know. Take my personal, I'll hop in the truck and either drive the truck back or whatever. You know, we take care of our people just in that way. Yeah.
You know, that's somebody's father, brother, uncle, grandpa. That's somebody sitting in that truck. And if it were me sitting in that truck, how would I want my boss to handle that situation? "Oh, we'll just hang tight. We'll call a tow truck, this, that. You know, call me in the morning. It's late." You know, not at all. Yeah. And you know, I'm one of those guys that, you know, I focus on making sure that these guys know they're not alone in the truck. And you know, my cousin, he's the same way. You know, he takes charge of the company, doing, you know, a lot of the clerical side, you know, making sure we're compliant, permits are paid, fuel cards are paid, truck payments are paid, insurance. You know, he'll look at profit and loss statements. You know, we'll go over that together, but he does his part too, you know. And if these guys call him at 2 a.m, "Hey, you know, we maxed out the fuel card, we need fuel or something," you know, for some reason, because they're set on 24-hour, you know, they reset 24 hours or whatever the limit.
Yeah.
You know, we'll sell it to them right away. You know, we'll get them the money. Or, "Hey, if you have it in your bank account, use it. Send me the receipt. I'll put it in your bank back tomorrow." But these guys are never alone. Never.
There's a good community going on. A good friendship.
On my side, I after becoming the manager, I kind of try to change into a little, I don't want to say strict, but more professional. But as a driver, when I'm driving, I'll call them up, joke around the whole night. I mean, because at the same time, me coming just as a friend and telling them something, "Hey, you know, drop your speed or do this or do that." Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they'll see me as a friend. But like I said, you know, as a driver, that's when I just joke around.
Can that ever be a problem? Because what's your success rate in keeping the drivers when you hire them based on through that program, Department of, what was it called?
Rehabilitation.
Yeah. Are there some that are too they're just stuck on the old ways? Like, so let's say they deliver to where the enemies used to be, and that they start gangbanging on them from your truck. Like,
well,
is there a scenario like that could happen? Or?
This is what I tell people, man. You know, if you walk like a duck, talk like a duck, act like a duck, someone's gonna treat you like a duck. Mm-hmm. And you know, if you're doing your job, if you're being professional, no one's gonna look at a truck driver and say, "Oh, he's a gang member," right? It doesn't happen that way. But if you're in my truck and you're actively hanging out the window gangbanging, well, then you got that coming. You know, someone's gonna be there doing their thing. You know, but if you're just doing your job, looking for a way to make money and pay your bills and take care of your family, like, it's all on how they answer. You answer somebody. If, you know, one of my guys pulls up to a location and someone, hey man, I'm just here to deliver a load, you know, forget that mentality. You know, you're already winning. You got a home, you got a family, you got a car, you know, you got a job that's paying, you know, real good money. And so most of my drivers, most of them average between $5,500 to $8,000 a month. Mm-hmm. And when I say $5,500, that's like minimum wage for us, minimum effort. New driver coming in only wants to work, you know, limited days. But the average driver is taking home between $6,000 to $8,000 a month. And with that kind of money, why would you pay attention to something ignorant? You know, you're winning. Yeah, that guy, he's doing what he's doing because he's miserable. He has nothing to lose. He's already, you know, strung out, spun out, his mentality somewhere else, you know?
The mentality, you said, sometimes it's already built in. Like, a lot of times, I would say a lot of people, I think, it sounds fucked up, but they end up in there over the mentality, the way they reacted to something. Like, maybe it only took, like, a few seconds to put in that, to make that choice, and now 10 seconds of losing your temper results in 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, well, if you would just let it go.
Another thing that I do on my free time is I mentor at-risk youth and juvenile offenders and, you know, other people in probation classes. And I go to universities, I go to colleges, and I talk to criminal law and justice students. And like I said, a lot of people who already had, you know, brushes with the law or want to become part of the law. And when you come to work at Freedom, you know, the statement of, you know, live free, you know, stay free, die free. Yeah. That's all part of the mentality process. And so when I talk to my guys, you know, I always tell them, you're not alone. If it's 2 or 3 in the morning and you're facing demons in your head, call me. We'll talk about it. I've been there, you know. There isn't too much anyone can tell me they've done that I haven't already done myself. And
that can really change a life. Like, it just gives it that much more credibility. Like, you know, you're not bullshitting. Like, you have like someone like Kim Kardashian telling women that don't make the same as her or whatever to get their ass off and work, but she can't relate. But if it's coming from someone that can relate, you value it that much more. Absolutely. It's like, you're not just telling me what I want to hear. Like, you did it. Like, you're an example for me. It pushes me.
Will I get up and do it with you?
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I tell people all the time, you know, these people, when I meet them, I tell them, hey man, when you meet us, we're going to change your life, you know? And it's not my goal to change your life, like by me trying to mold you into the person I want you to be.
It's your calling.
I help you identify.
I think so.
I help you identify yourself, you know, who you are and what you want in life. And I tell people.
You're always trying to put people on, bro. Like, I got to give you that. Like,
thank you.
I haven't known you that long, but the short time I've known you, like, anytime you hear something, you hit me up. Hey, there's this, you know, I don't know, might be an opportunity for you. Might be that. You can't help it, bro. Yeah. And, you know,
it is what it is.
Sometimes we could hop on it. Sometimes we can't. But you still have that intention. And I want to, you know, let it be known that I appreciate it.
You don't give up on people.
Yeah.
You know, some people need a little more help than others. You know, some people, they get it. They go. Some people just need to know that there's someone there behind them. And when I meet them, I tell them, look, man, if you want to be on some bullshit, you know, you're not going to do that in my truck. there's a business card on the side of my truck, right? And represent my company. Yes. If you want to be on some bullshit, if you want to feel sorry for yourself, tell me now. And if we can talk about it and I can help you before you get in my truck, then so be it. But if you want to be on some bullshit and you think you're going to get in my truck, I can deliver a world of bullshit to you too, you know? And you know, most of my guys, they know exactly what we're about. And I tell them, you're not going to have a boss on your shoulders making you feel pressured. You're not going to have somebody behind you, you know, hounding you, making you feel like, you know, you're going to break or something. You know, we're here to help. If you need to talk to me, call me. If you're having a problem, a family problem, call me. You know, I'm not a therapist or a counselor, but I've been through enough shit to know that I can relate to somebody. And if I can help these guys change their mentality, even the convicted felons, it's a long-term criminal thinking mentality that they have, right? And it comes from something so easy when you're in junior high. You're a cool kid. You got the little lunch tickets. I'm not going to stand in this long-ass line. My homeboy's in front. I'm going to go jump in front.
Yeah.
You just cut, right? But that's where your mentality starts at that age. And you got away with it today. Tomorrow you get away with it again. Next thing you know, you're going to go to the bathroom and smoke a bowl of weed. You got away with it. So you're building that criminal thinking mentality.
Yeah.
And so if it took you 10, 15, 20 years to build that mentality, it's not going to change overnight for the good. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
And you need someone there who can relate to you to help you. You know, one of my guys, we've had some heart-to-heart talks, you know, and, you know, he'll call me and he'll tell me, oh, what's up with this guy? I'm going to beat the fucking brakes off that guy, you know, and I tell him, well, do it. Do it. You want to go back to prison? You want to stand up for count? You want to be told when to eat, when to use the bathroom? You want all that again? You feeling sorry for yourself? Go do it. Come on, I'll drive you. No, I'm just venting. Oh, okay. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I know in my heart that he really would do something like that.
So because you need that like recalibration.
There's a certain way of psychology of grabbing a hold of somebody and relating to them. And then I stop them and I break them down and I say, okay, now that you got the anger off your chest, let's talk about this. That guy's making $15 an hour, taking home $250, $300 a week. You're taking home $1,700, $2,000 a week. Really? What are you thinking? What's wrong with you? You're winning already.
But he has to show him that he's real, that he's a real one.
And I tell him, what are you trying to impress that guy for? Why are you trying to show him you're a real one? Who is he?
You already know you could beat his ass. Then
correct. Is he paying your bills? No. Is he going to bed with you at night? No. Is he sleeping with your girl at night? No. So what in the world are you thinking? If that's how you're thinking, park my truck, put keys on the seat, get out of my truck.
Anyone can push a button.
You know?
Right?
Oh, no, you're right. Like, look, bro, call me first. Mm-hmm. Don't call somebody talking shit. Call me first if you feel that way, you know? And I'll help you get through it. And if I can't help you get through it and you need a week off to find yourself, your job will be here when you come back. Why? Because I'm human. You're human. I know what the feeling is like to have to release stress or vent to somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
When you hold it too long.
Exactly. You know what happens to a PVC pipe, right? When it has too much pressure in it, it breaks. You know, it's not copper, it's not steel, it's PVC. It'll break. Mm-hmm. And that's how, you know, humans are.
And they don't release that pressure, but it's broken and you done fucked up.
Right. Now you got a disaster and it takes a long time to put it back together. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at with that.
Fuck, man. It just sounds like easy, right? Just say it. But
it's hard.
Someone that's not mad telling someone that's pit bull status just wants to fucking bite the fucking shit out of someone.
Yeah. I mean,
horrible analogy, but you know, like when you got those dogs mad as fuck that not even a finger up the ass will make them release the bite. You know, like it's like when they got their mind made up. Sometimes it's just hard, man.
It is, and he's with me every day, and he hears how I think. You know, and I try to teach him not how to think like me, but how to think. You know, in situations, critical thinking. You know, standing on your feet. You know, at the spur of the moment. Sometimes something happens and the first thing you want to do is act, right? But actions committed in anger cannot be undone. You understand what I'm saying? So stop for a minute. Think about the consequences. Think about what could come of this. Think about why you're doing this.
There's a Bruce Lee quote. Do you know it?
No.
Right? A quick temper will make a fool of you soon enough.
Oh yeah,
something like
I've heard that. Yeah.
I stay here saying quotes, and
I
I
didn't
find
know it was-
someone that knows the quote is like, "You motherfucker!" It's
I didn't know
that's
it was
not how
a
it
Bruce Lee
goes.
quote, but yeah.
But you get it, right? But did I interrupt? Were you going further?
No, I'm good.
Down
I'm just
that?
touching points as we're going.
Because you had mentioned that you help the at-risk youth, and it aligned with one of the questions I've had here.
Okay.
So it's like, what is some advice for someone at risk of prison? Maybe someone out there right now is living that fast life, and it's on the back of their mind. It might happen, but in case, you have any reality check you can give them, or like,
if I had
we all think we're not gonna get caught until we do.
Right.
So,
if I had it my way, I'd be working with, youth and at-risk youth and juvenile offenders every day. Trucking for me is something that, pays my bills and helps me get through life, a little bit. But my real passion is helping people like me. There's a lot of people out there in our communities that are misguided. They don't have the resources. And it's really the way our community's set up, right?
Yeah.
If you have money, if you have parents with money, you go to a private school, you live in a rich neighborhood, you go to school, you play football, your parents support you. So it's like you grow up in a different lifestyle. But then you have people that are from poverty, people that are like, from the communities that are lower income, right? Where the mom is working 2 jobs, the dad is in prison.
a product of their environment, and then they're judged for it.
Well, and I don't like to say a product of your environment, right? Because that's a cheap way out.
Is it?
It's saying a product of your
So
environment.
you're blaming it on that.
You're giving it an excuse.
Okay.
But if the right people were to come around and say, hey, like I'll give you an example, right? I'm a big dude, But if I go to Starbucks and I order a caramel frappiato, whatever, right? Macchiato, whatever you want to do, right?
You're not a Starbucks guy, huh?
It's $4.80.
Yeah.
But let me order it sugar free, and it's
Yeah.
$5.80. So it's more expensive to be healthy, right?
Oh, yeah. That's
you go to
everywhere.
McDonald's and order a whole family meal for $16. But if you went to a healthy restaurant, you're paying $60 for food that's baked, not fried. And so the same can be applied into our communities, right? You live in a good community, you become a good person. Now, there's always going to be the black sheep of the family that's going to, go out there and be on dope and, try something different. But for the most part, the numbers are there. So what lacks in our minority communities? Opportunities, programs that help people. So you might be a fast kid. You might play with a soccer ball in the backyard and you're real good. But because mama works 2 jobs and daddy's not around, she can't afford to pay for you to go play ISO soccer or youth soccer or, pay for your gear to play baseball or football or sports in high school or junior high. You have a parent who's not there for you, but they really are there for you. They're going to work every day to pay for things that you need, right? A roof over your head, food, clothes, shoes for you to go to school. But as a child, you don't understand. You want more. You want that Nintendo, that PlayStation. You want that bicycle or, something that your friends have that you don't have. And so you think, damn, my mom's not giving me nothing. You're a teenager. So you start doing things, looking for shortcuts in life to look for things that you want, right? How can I get that PlayStation 5 that just came out? My mom can't afford that shit.
I still say product of your environment.
Like I said,
it puts you in the situation.
Right.
Now, if you choose the right thing or not, that's up to you.
Correct. But this is what I try to tell kids, right? We don't have enough programs to teach people this. There's not enough resources, and everything's about money. When I go mentor youth, I don't charge nobody. When these people call me to come to their programs and their classrooms, I don't charge. Hey, what's your price? I don't need nothing.
Yeah,
I do. I'm blessed through trucking. I have my own company. I'm blessed through what I do. I'm just here to give back to the community that I once took from. I was the problem, and today I like to be the solution to the problem. And I've had a lot of people. This is really the first time that I've talked about it on camera with anybody. I've had a lot of people who want to write about my story. They want me to put it out there, and I tell them, look, man, the first time you do something, for fame, it loses its value on what you're really trying to do it for. You know, I'm not here to do this for people to see me and say, oh, that's a great dude, man. You know, you're doing this and that. No, that's a real life story. That's a real person I'm helping. You know, and if somebody would have did it to me when I was a youngster, I wouldn't have been in the situation I was in, you know? And instead of saying, well, I'm a product of my environment, if I would have just asked the right person for help as a kid, I would have not been in my situation. We're afraid to ask. We're afraid to open up and speak. You think if you tell someone, I'm poor, my mom works, but I want to do this, you think people are going to laugh at you. But if we have those resources, like teachers, they work in schools, they don't make a lot of money. They do it because they enjoy being around kids. If you were to go to your teacher and say, hey, teacher, my mom works a lot, you know, and I don't have a father at home, or vice versa, you know, I don't have a mother at home. My mom, you know, she's in jail or whatever. I live with my dad or whatever the story is. But I really want to play football. I really want to play baseball. I really want to be an artist. Can you help me? If someone doesn't know you're hungry, how can they feed you? If someone doesn't know you're hurting, how can they heal you? And that's what I do with these youth kids. When I come and talk to them, I let them know, hey, check this out. You think you're alone, but you're not. There's a lot of people out there like you. But if you don't ask for help, you won't get it. And if you think that you're going to get away with committing crimes and doing this, and like I said, it starts at a young age. You don't think you're committing a crime, right? You see your dad's liquor bottle up there on the shelf. You take a shot and then you put a little bit of water back in it and fill it back up. And you're already in that mentality
of come up.
Exactly. And then your dad didn't notice. So what happens next time he gets a bottle? You keep doing things, right? You know, and so when I talk to the kids, I tell them, look, man, when I was your age, I didn't think never in a million years that I would end up in prison. You know, I thought it was just fun and games. I didn't think you can go to prison for crimes not hurting people, right? Not killing people. I thought, well, I'm not killing nobody. I'll get a slap on the wrist. I got more time than a child molester gets, you know? And that's what's wrong with society.
Yeah, that's what I was listening to you talk about, like there's no funding for this stuff. There's no funding for like stuff that is beneficial to society.
Correct.
There's money invested recently in some pipas, bro. Like, you heard of that? the Scante kits?
Yes.
The administration and they're giving them free.
Right
you
now.
You get your little meth pipe, you get your little syringes, you get all this stuff. But there's no money for the schools. I gotta have my son ask you to buy a chocolate bar because his school needs money.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What the fuck is going on?
And that's my point. You know, there's programs that I like to help out and I like to go to, and I see it. They're called, you know, like I have a friend of mine who was incarcerated too. He came home and he's been a union welder and he opened programs for them and stuff like that. And, you know, there's a thing like build schools, not prisons. And that's what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. If the money that they said they were spending on building prisons or paying prisons is going to housing inmates, create a program that will change our mentality. Someone can literally be changed going through an intense program in 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. But you just gave this man a 20-year sentence. Incarceration isn't. Now, look, some people, you know, excuse me, it's not my place to judge. Yeah. Some people, sex offenders, stuff like that, they deserve to be locked up and key thrown away. But a drug dealer, a drug user, obviously there's a problem there. Let's identify the problem. Let's attack that problem. Let's help them. Let's design a program to help change their mentality. And when they come home, let's get them into a workforce. Let's help them get a job, which is what I do. Most people get into these things because they have problems and they struggle and they use drugs for an escape zone of reality. You know, no one wants to hire me. You go panhandle for $5, you get a sack of weed, you smoke, you're high. But guess what? When you sober up, your problem's still there. So what do? They chase the high again.
And because now you feel depressed because of your situation, and now you're back.
Right, and that's come back to self-pity. And so when
you're high, you miss out on an opportunity.
And this is what I tell people, right? I tell people this all the time. You know, my brother, I love my brother to death, man. you know, and again, he someone who likes to smoke weed, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. People like to smoke weed. It's legal here, legal there. But guess what? You and I and him know that in the federal, you know, DOT world, marijuana's not legal. And so don't let a $20 bag of weed get in the way of you making $20,000 a month. You know, and if that's where you're at, then you need help. Because
you're prioritizing that comfort over.
Correct. You'd rather spend $20 on a bag of weed and get high than make $20,000 a month and change your life.
Get high on life.
You know?
Progress.
I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I may have a drink socially every now and then. But before my incarceration, I smoked more weed than most people who would tell you, oh, they smoke this, that. Bro, I smoked so much marijuana, like it wasn't even funny before I went to prison. And
I call you Rick Khalifa.
Some people used to call me Dr. Kush or something, you know. But I tried to stop plenty of times, and I would say, for what? What am I stopping for? Like, you know, I enjoy being high. And then when I went to prison and I sobered up and I came home, you know, I look at my life today and I look at my life yesterday, and it's like, look, no regrets, right? That is what made me who I am today. So I don't regret it. You know, I lived and I learned. I enjoyed life while I was doing it. Today, my life is different. I wake up, I'm high on life. Some people ask me, like, bro, are you okay? I'm like, man, I'm free. I'm alive. You know, I'm free to pick and choose and do anything I want to do today with nothing holding me back. I have a cop behind me. I don't worry. I'm not panicking. There's nothing in my car. I'm not high. I'm not drunk. I wake up, I look for things to do. I can't even tell you, bro, just being high on life is a whole nother feeling. But 20 years ago, if you would have told me I was going to be sober when I was 40, I would have laughed at you. I'd have been like, there's no way. The older you get, the more problems you have, you know? But today, it's just
mentality,
it's just a beautiful feeling because I know what it feels like to be high. I know what it feels like to chase fast money and to chase that lifestyle, and I know where the result will take you. So, in an essence, what I tell these kids.
The high is a lie.
Well.
Start with that.
It depends on the high.
Ah, yes.
Okay? Because if you're high on life, there's no lie to that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So I tell these kids, I did everything possible to make sure that I would get the Super Bowl ring of criminal activity, and I got myself a 15-year federal prison sentence. I have friends that are in the NFL. When I was out running amok on the streets, these guys were at the park throwing the football, working out, lifting weights. They put the same effort I put into this lifestyle, they put it into their dreams, and they made it to the NFL. And so if you take the same energy that you're using into the criminal thinking mentality and being on the streets, if you take that same mentality and put it into your goals and your dreams, you will accomplish them. If you can dream it, you can chase it. And if you can chase it, you can catch it. And if you can catch it, you can live it. But you gotta put that effort in there.
And when they accomplish it, they get to keep that motherfucker.
You
in
know?
the street, you accomplish it, you're watching your back all the time.
Left and right.
How long is this gonna last? And then what are you
right.
left with? Nothing.
You know? And the only result in the streets is a life term of incarceration or an early trip to the cemetery.
Yeah.
There's no other result there. You know what I mean? Even Chapo gets caught. You know what I'm saying? And look, now he's crying that they don't let him sleep, you know? Talking about a criminal here who cut people's heads off and did all kinds of crazy things. And, you know, hey, look, that's fine, right? But now look at you. Oh, they don't let me sleep. They have the lights turned on 24/7. Ándale, cabrón. Ándale.
Make your bed
and
lay in it.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a perfect example. But imagine if he were to have used those skills into legit business, into trucking, into something different, into restaurants, and none of that had that. The same effort in a different, you know, situation. I mean, hell, he'd be turning his lights off with a remote control.
Yeah.
You know? Not sitting here crying about a BOP guard leaving the lights
But
on.
there's the opportunities. The opportunities weren't there. You know what I mean?
Hey, Motel 6, they'll leave the lights on for you.
Yeah,
They've always got a bed for you. There's always vacancies, and if there's none, they'll make some.
If not in trucking, what would you be doing? Oh, you're not open to nothing other than trucking, huh?
Well, I'm gonna let him go first.
I mean, for me, it's, I don't know. I mean, before I got into trucking, I used to be a caregiver. Took care of seniors, so that's something that I actually did love to do. Just throughout the years, listening to stories on their childhood and them growing up, and then to the point where they started passing away.
Did you catch feelings? Like,
of course.
Like,
I mean, that's
emotionally attached.
That they become your family and you become their family. So, I had to step away from that.
Yeah,
I literally had.
Is that serious?
That bad? Like I would go home and cry when I would find out that they would pass away or whatever. So for me, it was just like, I can't do that. I can't get too attached.
It never numbed out where like you got used to it, and it's like.
And that's the scary part. If you think about it, because then if you think, okay,
desensitized.
Now you're not having feelings as much anymore. So now you start thinking, how am I gonna feel when my parents pass away? And I remember being young and I'll cry just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, my parents pass away. I'm gonna kill myself or whatever the case is. And the older you get in that field, I just felt like I was getting cold. And once you don't have feelings, I feel like it's just time for you to walk away. So I left that and I got into trucking. What I do after, that's the hard part, because I breathe trucking. I love this. This is a lifestyle. It's not a job. It's you wake up to this.
Yeah.
So from that to, like I said, from being a caregiver to being a trucker, now I would not turn back around and do it any different.
How about you?
It's for me it's tricky, because if it's not trucking, what would it be? I've always been able to adapt to my situations. My passion. I till this day, I tell people, I've always wanted to be a train engineer. Looking at this train, it's like,
oh yeah,
I tell people all the time, and they're like, but you don't have to do it no more. You're set. But it's like that's the mentality that keeps you from progressing, right? Oh, I got a little bit of money, I'm set. No, I love heavy equipment. I would, definitely, and still today's state, I would be a heavy equipment operator. But for the most part, I've always had a fascination with trains and airplanes. I still chase my dreams, and I doing a pilot school and stuff like that. There it is.
Here you go. Just put it down softly for noise purposes. Get a close up.
But I do. I'm currently, pursuing getting a small pilot's license, for smaller craft, and hopefully we'll take Freedom USA in the air, to doing cargo jets and stuff like that.
Goals.
There's a lot of people who, like I said, they get a little bit of money or they get to accomplish something, and then they get comfortable. But that comfort is what keeps you trapped in a web.
You hit the plateau.
Right. Heavy equipment is what I would be doing without trucking. I would have pursued, operating excavators and backhoes and stuff like that. But where I'm trying to take this to is another level. You got guys out here bidding on routes, fighting for, dedicated lanes. And I'm trying to take this, the trucking money that we have and turn it into being, like I said, cargo jets and doing, next day air and stuff like that. And again, the opportunities would be from within, right? If I'm getting my pilot's license to become a certified flight instructor as well, to have that cert on there, then once I have it and I'm a flight instructor, well, what stops me from saying, hey, Jesse, or, hey, X, Y, and Z, I'm offering you an opportunity, would you like to come learn how to fly so that we can have pilots, You bring a person in to being a truck driver, and then from being a truck driver, you know, they know what it's like. It's almost identical. You know, you're reading gauges and or an instrument flight cluster. And so then I say, hey, you know what? You've put in enough work in this company. You've shown responsibility. Would you like to take your career to the next level? You know, I'm a certified flight instructor. I can take you and teach you how to fly. And then we can purchase a plane or two, you know, start with small jets or bigger jets and subcontract out with FedEx or UPS and stuff like that, offering them more flights, more planes, you know, stuff, or start our own, you know, but we'll still be freedom. And I like to joke a lot when I'm at airports, you know, I'll take a picture of an airplane and I'll put, soon you'll see a plane with a Freedom USA logo on it.
Visualizing.
But it will happen. Yeah. It's not something I'm planning on doing. It's something I'm going to do. Once you establish commercial credit and, you know, your bank account, you have a good score, buying a plane is like buying a truck. You get the plane off the lot, you put it to work, it makes a certain amount of dollars, you pull the income out, you pay the payments, and it's just a cycle, you know? So it's just one of those things that you can't ever be comfortable. You know, when you get comfortable, summertime, your house is, you know, it's 110 degrees outside. You're inside your house, it's 65 degrees. Do you get up and leave the house? No. Oh, man, I'm comfortable. Let me go get a beer. Let me Uber eat some food, you know? Yeah. You're comfortable, you know? But if you constantly realize that you're in a comfort zone and then you shake yourself out of it, imagine your life without this now. Or imagine what you can do if you take it to the next level.
Yeah. You think it's important to kind of put yourself in situations purposely? Like, yes. Like in that scenario, literally, like, I'm going to force myself to go out.
You have to. You have to in life.
So you don't lose touch with that, right?
So, me and him, we ride Harleys together. There's been times where we've been out on the highway and we'll get a text, right? One of the drivers will call in sick. You know, oh, hey, I'm sick. On social media, I saw you were at a banda party last night. Yeah. Dead ass drunk. Yeah. Okay, but it's fine. I'll stop what I'm doing. We'll go, hey man, stop drinking. Let's go. We're whatever. Let's finish our food. We got to get home. And I'll come back that night and I'll jump in a truck. I come out of my comfort zone constantly, and the reason why I do it is, first of all, no one's going to care about your company more than you yourself as the owner.
Yeah, that's right.
And, you know, like I said, my cousin is my business partner, and he does his part. You know, my part is this side of the company. His side of the company is, you know, computers and stuff. And, I mean, I do that too. But, you know, his job is to make sure we don't get sued. We're compliant. Everything's running smooth. And that's the part that nobody sees. And he doesn't get enough credit for it. A lot of people see Freedom and they see me. But, you know, I'd like to take this opportunity to honor him because he does a lot of stuff that nobody sees. And that's why people think it's just me.
Okay.
And I like to give him his credit, you know, because his mind.
Shout out to him.
To Todd, my cousin. A lot of people think like, oh.
Give us a like and a subscribe, Todd.
He's big on watching podcasts too. But a lot of people see me and they think, oh, if Rick can do it, I'm going to go get a truck and do it myself. But you own the truck. And you know there's a lot more to just buying a truck and putting fuel in it and finding loads, right? Yeah. If you don't play your cards right within, you know, 6 months of having your authority active, you can be put out of service for 30 days because you didn't file a BOC 3 or a UCR agreement right, or you did something wrong, you know, and that's where that man gets his credit from. You know, he constantly, for the last 3 years, has made sure that we have been in compliance 100%. And we try to learn from other people's mistakes. He'll be on YouTube. He'll be on Google. He'll watch things and see, like, why did he get put out of service? What happened? And then he makes sure that we don't get put out of service, which allows me to free up from paying attention to that stuff. And I can focus on getting accounts. I can focus on hiring drivers and buying new trucks and stuff. So a lot of people think it's just me. And it's not. And so when you see and say, well, if Rick can do it, I can do it. Look, no doubt about it. But just know that I'm not alone.
So it always takes a team.
team together, everyone accomplishes more.
I like that one.
You know,
I'm gonna write that one down.
go ahead. So it's just one of those things, man. You know that you can't get comfortable. I come out of my comfort zone all the time. You know, if I have to get up and drive, I will. And that goes back to where I tell people I lead from example. If it's a Sunday and there's a Super Bowl or playoff game or something, look, if I don't have a source of income, I can't sit at home and watch that sporting event. So the Dodgers, the Lakers, you know, the Raiders, Green Bay Packers, you know, whoever your team is, they don't pay your bills. So if you want to take a day off to watch a sporting event, call that guy and tell him to pay your rent. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I constantly come out of my comfort zone to lead by example with my guys. You know, they see me on a Sunday. Hey, what are you doing here? It's a Sunday. Hey, bro, I don't ask you guys to do anything I'm not willing to do. You know, and I live by that. You know, if I tell you let's go, there's been time where me, him, and another one of our drivers, we'll convoy 3 trucks deep. You know, and we're driving together, so they know that I'm not doing anything different than they are. You know, we're working together. And I don't have a problem doing it.
Yeah. You mentioned teams. It's interesting that a lot of people will root more for a team that doesn't really give a shit about them than they will do for themselves or their homie or their, you know, pariente. I never understood that. Maybe I'm just boring because I'm not really into sports. But it's very big that.
As in what way?
That how people get the passion they have, like when it comes to sports, like there'll be riots over a sport.
Of course.
An
but
outcome.
That's the thing. I think that's more of like the culture.
Yeah. Okay.
People just want to follow what's the trend that's going on at the moment. So
like the bandwagons, like the people that all of a sudden, man, this Super Bowl, I was like, enough. Everyone's a fucking this and that fan. Like, what do you know about football, bro?
All of a sudden, you got Rams fans out there, right?
No, there was a guy with the fucking somebody's Theo was rocking a Dodge Ram fucking T-shirt. He had it all fucked up.
Wow.
Yeah, the Dodge Ram logo. Yeah. Go Rams.
Right. Yeah. You know, it cracks me up. Theo, look, we're entitled to life. We're entitled to our entertainment. You know, what entertains you might not entertain me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the fact that I have, like I said, you know, some drivers, you know, interesting. I told him right before Christmas, wait till Super Bowl comes around. Doesn't matter what teams in the Super Bowl or the playoffs. We're going to have a lot of call-offs on Sunday.
Sure enough.
And sure enough, every Sunday we were fighting for coverage, you know, trying to figure out, hey, I need this Sunday off, and I need next Sunday off, or, hey, I need this Sunday off. And then come Sunday, the very next day, Monday, it's like, I need next Sunday off too. And then it clicked. Your team's in the fucking Super Bowl. So they won today. They're playing next week. But if they didn't make it to next week, you'd be working next week, right? And that's where I get a little upset, but I have to control my feelings, right? Because, again, there's sheeps and there's wolves, right? Yeah. Sheeps follow the herd. You know, they follow the crowd, right? And then there's the wolf who can live alone. There's a lion who can live alone, right? And that's what separates people. And I was just telling Jessie, you know, there's certain people who, you know, they're always going to be a good company worker, a good employee, a good driver for no matter, even if it wasn't trucking, right? There's people who seek financial security. They're okay with working for someone because they can call in sick and then come back and still have their job. Or if they get fired, they can go work for someone else, right? And then there's someone who's good at managing, right? They have a business mindset, but they don't quite have the means to jump into a business and give up what they have because they have a family, a home. They have things to lose that they would risk losing if they took that leap. And then there's people who just don't care. They'll chase their dreams no matter what. And I think what helped me and my cousin is that we didn't have anything to lose when we changed careers or when we jumped into this. And so when we took our chance, I didn't have rent. I didn't have a mortgage. I was living with my mom. And, you know, and then, you know, it's just one of those things where if I failed, my mentality was like, well, I can go back and live with my mom. But I didn't have anything to lose by taking that chance as to, where Jessie has a family and he has kids. you know, and if he makes a move and it's the wrong move and it fails, now he can't pay his mortgage. Now, you know, him and his kids are trying to figure out how to eat.
Everyone's affected.
I mean, that's the same reason
Right.
I haven't started my own company. Before I even went to work with him, that was one of my thoughts. You know, open up my own company. But how you said, I can't just jump and do it because my kids, my mortgage. Then what happens at that point? You know, if I can't make that payment now, I have to put them out in the streets. I'm not willing to take that risk at the moment. Now, to be honest, like, I make enough money. He pays me enough to actually even open it up. But then again, why am I gonna lose that comfort as well? You know, of maybe even if I don't make it, what's gonna happen? You know, is my job secure? Am I gonna secure my job with freedom, or am I gonna jump the ship and start my own thing and possibly losing everything that I have now?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, honestly, he treats me right. You know, he knows my worth. Me and him have, you know, bumped heads at time, but at the end of the day, he always tells me, you know what, I tell you for a reason, and it's true. So I wouldn't leave him just because I feel like, oh,
Yeah.
let me go do this. You know?
And you get that a lot. Like, the people you put on get a little taste of it, and then like, oh, I could do it myself.
It's happened. It's happened. I've had a handful of contractors, you know, who own their own truck, and they follow you, you know, and I know you're watching, you know, and I've never taken an opportunity to take cheap shots at them because that's not the kind of person I am. If I can do it, you can do it, you know, and you're absolutely right. I've been to prison 12 years. I had everything stacked against me. 5 years of supervised release, you know, probation and stuff. You know, everything in the world against me. And if I can do it, then you can do it. And there's some people who, you know, they've never been to prison. And, you know, they've been out this whole time, you know, and they see me and they're like, must be nice, you know, must be nice to be living your lifestyle.
Fucking hate that phrase.
Well, you know, look, I used to hate it, right? And I used to downplay myself. But fuck that. It is nice.
Yeah.
Own what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to really go there, yeah, it is nice. What the fuck were you doing 12 years ago? I come home from prison, you're still sitting on your mama's porch steps, smoking weed and drinking 40s. So yeah, it is nice. Tell me all about it, homie. Tell me how it feels to be drunk. Tell me how it feels to be in that world, you know? It was nice sleeping in the back of a truck for a year and a half, driving around the country with my cousin, building this company. You know, I didn't get to see my loved ones. I didn't get to live a life, but I had a vision. I had a dream, and I was chasing it. So you want to tell me it must be nice? Yeah, it is nice. You know what I'm saying?
Be like, hey, that's what I get for
then,
following my dream.
Well, no, and then you get people that tell you, oh, my bad, homie. Nah. Get out of here with your smart-ass remarks. Instead of making smart-ass remarks, be like, hey, big dog, you know, I got an idea, you know, how can you help me chase it? You know what? I got extra money. I can invest in you. I can help you become who you are. And that gets to the contractors. I get these contractors who come to me from being mistreated at, you know, wherever they were working before. And, you know, people have their own little trucks. And it's like, look, they woke up with a dream and they said to themselves, well, if I can, you know, I can buy a truck, I'll have my own little company. But then I bring them on and I give them work. And then they start seeing where I'm getting my work from. And all of a sudden they get to thinking, well, I'm going to step on this dude's toes, you know? And I create non-compete agreements. So when you come to me, you know, you have to, if you want to jump onto, you know, who I'm working with, then you have to leave me and them for a whole year. Go out into the world, survive for a year by yourself. When you come back, if they'll take you in, by all means, go ahead. You know, I encourage that. But don't come to my dinner table when I invite you to my dinner table to sit and eat with my family and think you're going to jump in bed with my loved one. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't work. And there's a lot of people who do that. And it's like, look, man, when I get these contractors, I read them. And I look at them and I tell them straight up, hey, bro, there's a non-compete agreement here. You know, you come in, you know, if you want your own opportunity, I'll help you. But don't step on my toes, you know?
What led you to doing that? Is that your Todd?
You know, me and him, we're yin and yang, you know? There's days where we bump heads plenty. You know, we'll go 2 or 3 days without talking to each other. But at the end of the day, we're family. We love each other. We've been through a lot. And we run a business together. So we always come back to terms. But, you know, what led us to thinking like that is that starting to see what other people do to other people. Like I said, we learn from other people's situations. Hey, what happened to your contractors? Oh, they stepped on our toes. They went and did this. You know, screw them, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, if they did it to them, what makes you think they won't do it to us given the opportunity?
Okay.
And so when we give you that opportunity to come with us, it's like, look, sometimes you own a truck, you come work with us, I'm giving you loads, and you're like, damn, I didn't think about coming to this place right here, you know, and I'll keep the name off the record, you know, but I didn't think about coming to this place right here, becoming a vendor. Oh, man, now that I see it, I'm going to try to get in. Good luck. You know, we have a good relationship with the people that we pull freight for, and they respect us as a company. And so essentially what will happen is if you're trying to get in, I'll get a phone call that says, do you know who this is? Yeah, I know who this is. Oh, they're trying to get in. They're trying to step on your toes. They're trying, okay, you know, well, here's the non-compete agreement. No, okay, thank you. Fair enough. And to this day, they've tried to get in, but they haven't. And
knowing the non-compete agreement was in place, or thinking that was just all bluff?
Thinking it was all bluff.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you know, I've got some guys who will flirt their way, you know, with certain staff members in the company because he'll come up to a window and he'll get paperwork, and it's usually women at, you know, giving it. You know, we had one guy, you know, he really, I don't want to discuss personal problems, but we had one guy who thought he was going to, you know, work with this girl, you know, play a love relationship or what it was. Yeah. And then she exposed our rates to him. And then so he started demanding more money, thinking we were ripping him off, you know, and we weren't. And then when he started, you know, talking to this girl, and he was like, oh, that's it. So the girl, he already knew he bit too much off his plate by trying to step on the toes. And when he realized, like, damn, you know, like, I'm not even making really nothing off the contractors. I make my money because I own my trucks. You understand what I'm saying? I don't need to make money off contractors like brokers do. Brokers sit in an office all day and pull money from hardworking truck drivers who are paying cost of maintenance, cost of operations, workman's comp, you know, drivers.
They don't have the same overhead.
Right. So brokers will just sit there and take money from you. But I'm not that guy. I make money off my trucks, you know. And when you come in as a contractor, if I make $100 a week off of you, you can't be mad because that's what I'm using to pay a dispatcher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm making your life easy to where you just show up and pick a load up, grab your paperwork and leave. And every Wednesday you have a direct deposit in your bank account. So you think in your mind it's all easy. But really that's the opportunity I provide for you. And so some people, you help them, right? You know, there's memes I've seen on Instagram and, you know, online, and they say, be careful who you help today, you know, or a friend today could be an enemy tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you could be trying to help somebody genuinely, and that person's really sitting there with 10 cameras set up around you, right? Watching your every move because they want to be in your position. Now, look, it's all fine and dandy. I'm okay with you wanting more in life because that's why I'm where I am.
Yeah.
But it goes back to team, right? Together, everyone accomplishes more. If we go about this the right way, you could become a business associate instead of trying to step on my toes and take food off my table. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why, bro, you gotta learn, man. When I'm gonna make a left turn, I pull my blinkers to the right. Mm-hmm. I can't let these haters know my next move. Well, I just wanted to use that one.
And you know what? It's the truth. Because one thing that I'll do, and you know, it's interesting because, you know, Jesse went from, you know, driving a truck to I'm trying to, you know, be a real life coach to him and teach him how to spot, you know, obstacles and fake obstacles, mm-hmm. and how to dodge things in life. And there's a lot of things that I'll do to someone. I will throw Rick out there and watch how you, him, and everyone else praise off that personality. But the real me will be sitting in the back watching how you guys are feeding off that. And that's how I'll make my decisions on who you are and what business I'll do with you and who he is and how much I'll let him know about my company.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, I bait, right? Because, and it's sad, you shouldn't have to do that. But we live in a society where, some people don't appreciate, envious. You have how many thousand followers on Containeroz?
57.
57,000? Okay. How many of those 57,000 followers do you think are really your friends?
I would say less than 5.
And how many of those people do you think are just watching you to see if you make it or fail?
A ton.
And how many of those people do you think are just sitting there waiting for you to sink so they can take your opportunity?
The majority? Nah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. All I know is that some people just like to see others fail.
Give me an example.
And it makes them feel better about themselves.
Put a post up on Instagram, right? A post. Not a story. A post. How many likes are you going to get? Take a picture of us sitting in this room. Put it on a post, not the storyline. How many likes is that post going to get? The taps, the hearts.
Oh, I don't know.
Out of 57,000 people, you might get 2,000 or 3,000 likes.
No, way less.
500, 1,000.
It won't be the same as if I would have put it on a story.
So if you put on a story, though, that's what I'm trying to say.
You're watching.
You put a post up, you might get 700 likes, 1,000 likes out of 57,000 people. But put it on a post and you might have 20,000 views.
Yeah.
Not everybody watching you wants to see you succeed. Not everybody watching you likes what you do. Some people are just watching you, waiting for you to fail, or watching you so that they can figure out how to make their next move. You know what I'm saying? And that's the point that I'm trying to make. And the thing about me and my experience is that, the 12 years of being in prison, no amount of money you have makes who you are. You can be, such and such boss from such and such cartel and you're in prison, but guess what? You're wearing the same clothes as me and the same clothes as everyone else in this prison. So what makes you a stand-up character in there? Respect. How you carry yourself. I don't care if you have $1 million in your bank account. If your word ain't shit, you ain't shit. Be impeccable with your word, and that's one of the
agreement number 1.
4 agreements, right? And so when you say something, be about it. When you speak, hold to who you are. Be firm on your word. And, hate me or love me, I tell him all the time, I don't have filters, Hate me or love me, you got to respect that I'm telling you the truth. And if you didn't like it, don't ask. I'm that friend that's going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Damn, bro, my girl cheated on me. Oh, that sucks, homie. Hey, that's all right. You're better than that. No. What did you do that she cheated on you? Did you give her attention? Did you treat her right?
Or you chose the wrong one from the start?
Yeah, or did you do everything you possibly can do to give her everything that I'm that guy who's going to tell you what you need to hear, and that's just a subject. That's just, an example, Oh, man, I can't hang with driving at night. Oh, yeah, sometimes driving at night's not for you. No. Are you sleeping correctly in the daytime? Are you resting? Are you eating right? Are you doing everything you possibly can to do it at night? I'm not going to feel sorry for you. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And that's what I tell people, man.
And some people don't like that.
Be about it, Don't talk about it. They say actions, actions speak louder than words or something like that. Be who you can be. And don't worry about who likes you and who doesn't. Because when I was worried about who liked me and who didn't, I ended up in prison. Right? Today, I could care less who likes me. I can care less who's around me. You're not paying my bills. You're not paying my rent. You're not making my truck payments. Right? Say what you want to say about me. But guess what?
The right ones will come through anyways.
My point exactly. And so there's, like I said, sayings and quotes everywhere, right?
Yeah.
One of the things is this, man. Hustle so hard that your haters are one day going to ask if you're hiring.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I tell people, I'm going to shine so bright that I'm going to be your guiding light. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And when you see, damn, man, you know what? That dude's finally doing it right. Hey, Rick, can I ask you a question? Hey, how do I get on board? That's what I'm talking about, bro. Come on. Let me show you that I'm not who you think I am. Right? And then when you find out who I am, you're like, wow, this guy wasn't so bad. But I guard who I am with everything I have to guard, because the more people I allow into my circle, the more I feel like
drained.
Well, no. The more I feel, I take care of people. I do a lot. And I'm willing to do a lot for people. The more people I allow in my circle, the more people I have to care about. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm real careful who I call a friend today.
It's hard, especially when you're successful like yourself. I bet it's like, how do you know when friendship is genuine and who's just fluffing? Like,
You're absolutely right.
that sucks to have to even put a filter on that. Like it doesn't work that way, huh? Send me only the real ones. Only the real ones. You're not gonna know until they do you dirty.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just society, though. At the end of the day, it always comes back to society, the way they were raised or seen their friends coming up in the hood or wherever they were coming from. But, I mean, I don't know. Rick, I literally trust him with my life. Me and him, right, when we're on our Harleys, we're next to each other. He's not in front of me. I'm not in front of him. We're next to each other. And it's hard coming from riding motorcycles, if you can't trust the guy next to you, you're not going to ride next to him at all. So I'm next to him at all times. He's next to me at all times. So I have his back, and he knows that I have his back, and he has my back as well.
So that's a symbol of trust in the riding community. Next to each other.
If you can't, because if you think about it, if you can't trust the guy next to you, or you can't trust the guy behind you, let's say you're in a club or not even a club, just in the pack.
I watch Sons of Anarchy, bro.
But just having a group of friends, and if you can't trust the guy behind you that he's not gonna slam throttle and hit your back tire or whatever, you don't want him behind you. If you don't trust the guy next to you that he might hit you and send you into the wall or to a car or whatever, you're not gonna trust him next to you. So at the end of the day, you have that. You have to build that trust with whoever you're riding with. And with me and Rick, I mean, the moment we take off from his house or from my house, or from whatever event that we're going to, we're next to each other. And it's just because I already know. The moment that I stop, he's going to stop. The moment that he stops, I'm going to stop. The moment he's going to turn, I'm going to turn right next to him. So it's like we built this understanding between us without even saying words.
Yeah.
Where we know where we're going, what we're doing, how we're going to turn, who's going to turn first, who's going to turn second. And throughout, we've been riding for 6 months?
About 8.
Or 8, and we've gotten to that point already where we don't even talk half of the time. We're just listening. He's listening to his oldies. I'm listening to freaking whatever the hell I'm listening to on our bikes, and we just look at each other and we already know, okay, hey, next street we're gonna make a turn.
And see, the same applies to the trucking. We convoy when we drive together, side by side. I can look at my speedometer and know how fast he's going. He can look at mine. We can drive next to each other, pulling doubles or 53s. And we know, okay, we see a car get in front of us. We know how to take action. I'm going to let him go first, and then I'll come, or he'll drop back, and I'll move. There
you go. I was hoping you didn't stay on there that long, because if I'm trying to pass it, one of you guys better get out of the way, man. I know you want to hold hands and all, but you gotta make way for the Containeroz going through. We got appointments and we got all this shit.
The funny part about it is very rarely do we ever do the speed limit.
Yeah.
All
right.
We're kind of, in a sense, and we drive with a sense of urgency. Mm-hmm. We drive like there's blood that needs to get to a donor center in the back of that truck or something, because we try to make on our word. When I tell you your trailer will be there by 5:30 in the morning, it will be there by 5:30 in the morning.
Or before.
But
safely.
Palabra. All right. What has been your biggest motivation to prosper? Whoever wants to go first.
Go for it.
My biggest motivation to prosper is, the fact that when I came home, I realized that I still was blessed to have my family there. And I started thinking about how I used to try to impress the wrong people around me before, my event. And one day my mom came in the room and she told me, all these damn girls you're hanging out with, this and that, when you go to prison, the only person that's going to be there for you is going to be me. Yeah, mom. Yeah, mom. The whole yeah, mom story, right? But then through my course of incarceration, I realized that the only one that was there for me was my family, just like she said. And sometimes it takes a certain event to realize what your priority should be. And so when I came home, my mom, she got sick at her job and she lost her job. And I realized that immediately she needed my help. And through the whole course of my incarceration, my mom made sure that I didn't need anything, And when I came home, I said to myself, I'm not a real religious person, but I would say prayers to God, like, God, if you're real, just be my guiding light, show me the way, give me the strength, give me the wisdom, give me the knowledge to come home and take care of my family. And, so far to today's date, I get these feelings inside of me like, boom, that's the next move. And it turns out to be the next move. And it's like I just have this comfort feeling inside of me knowing that, like, that's going to be it. And I tell
your
people,
intuition is
yes, and
al cien.
There's no other way to explain it than my prayers being answered. And when I tell you I'm not religious one bit. But I believe in a higher spirit, whatever name anybody out there chooses to call him, for me it's God, right?
Yeah.
But he's given me that strength. He's given me the comfort, the knowledge, and everything inside of me to want to be more in life. And so, I'm here today, and I'm very blessed. And my motivation has been to, I want my mother to know that she didn't raise a failure. I made a bad choice. I made a bad decision myself, and I accept responsibility for my actions. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, well, if I didn't get told on this, that, if that dude wasn't a snitch. Listen, at the end of the day, if I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, I would have never got incarcerated. And so my motivation comes from letting people know. I like turning doubters into believers, right? Not that I care what anybody thinks, but I knew when I came home there was going to be a lot of people watching me, thinking that I was going to come home feeling sorry for myself, and I was going to ask for a handout, and nobody wants to give me a job, nobody wants to give me a place to sleep. Listen, I don't need nobody's opportunities. We live in a country where we have 3 political parties. You have liberals, Republicans, and Democrats. But the beautiful thing about this country is that you can wake up and have your own belief and be free to do anything you want to do. And if foreigners come from different countries with $100 in their pocket and they own 7-Elevens or they own taco stands or, burrito shops or sushi restaurants or whatever, why the hell can't we? And so my motivation is you know what? I couldn't have all this when I was younger because my opportunities didn't allow me to. But once I realized and grew up and matured a little bit as an adult, or extremely matured, I realized, hey man, you can do anything you accomplish. You can accomplish anything you put your mind to. And with that being said, my father's sick. He's in the hospital. I don't know how much time he'll have left, but to hear my father tell me how proud he is of me and the things that I've accomplished, and to tell me that if he were to die, anytime soon, he would die in peace, knowing that, he saw his son do something with his life. And even though, his fathering skills were a lot different from, what society expects from a father, to hear my mother tell me how proud she is of me and my family, to tell me how proud they are, it's a great feeling to know that they don't feel like I'm their failure. And it's a great feeling to know that they know they can pass in peace, knowing that I came home and did something of myself. And, the same with my cousin, right? We grew up together. And, it was, did you hear what Ricky did? Did you hear what Todd did? Where you heard Todd's name, you heard Rick's name. If you heard Rick's name, you heard Todd's name. And it was always just one or the other. And today, it feels good to know that our family looks up to us, respects us, and knows that we have genuinely, truly learned our lesson.
Yeah, there's some positivity attached to bringing up your names.
Correct. And it feels good to know that people around me use our stories for motivation, even when I'm not present. I can leave and somebody who knows my story will talk about it to someone else. And if you hear it, you're like, man, you're bullshitting. You're talking out of your ass, but it's really a real life story, and I tell people, you walk by a homeless man and you look at that guy and you're like, oh man, that guy stinks. He's dirty. But you know what? That guy's human. That guy has a story too, and if you stop and don't be so judgmental and you buy the guy a meal and sit and talk to him, you will be surprised how intelligent some of these people are, but something happened in their life where they gave up on themselves or they felt like they couldn't accomplish something. But imagine what that man can be worth or that woman can be worth if someone just stood behind them with their hand on their back and said, let's go. I got you. I'm not going to let you fail. And that's my motivation, is to help people find themselves, help people believe in themselves, help people. Man, if you're talking to me from 12 years of incarceration to being a convicted felon to being this and being that, and you can do it, you know what? You're absolutely right. The only thing holding me back is my own excuses. Well, correct, because the excuses only satisfy the person that's giving them. And that's my motivation, to push people to be more in life.
Great. And I'm sorry about your father. I hope for a speedy recovery so you continue to see you putting in that work,
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot to juggle. He's I'm pretty much, kind of in a sense alone trying to help him, with the hospitals and stuff. And I've had to make a lot of crucial decisions this last month, whether to give permission for procedures. And it's funny because, I say this a lot. This man, he sits next to me all day and he hears the phone calls from the hospitals. We're talking about, scheduling our routes in our business, things we got to do. And then I get a phone call from a hospital and literally I have to stop thinking about business and make a critical decision on whether to let my father have this operation, if he's going to survive, or, what are the consequences. And it's like, I hang up the phone with the hospital. I don't have time to feel the hurt of my dad.
Process.
I hang up the phone and then I'm right back to business with him. And he's like, how do you do that? And it's like, it just is what it is. I love my father to death, and I accept death comes, to everybody. The minute you're born, you start to die. And I don't want him to go, but it's trying to juggle decisions for him, separate my personal feelings from work feelings. And, definitely I make it look easier than it really is. But, I do struggle with my thoughts sometimes too. I'm not a perfect person.
Mis respetos, because you're dealing with a lot and still kicking ass, man.
Thank you.
Not a lot of people can do that.
Appreciate it. Well, and it's the help of my team. I don't give my guys enough credit. I don't pat them on the back, but my guys are everything to me. And if any one of them ever became homeless or needed a place to stay, I've got an extra room in my house, and they know. I've had some drivers call me and tell me they broke up with their girlfriend and they're not living at the house no more. And I tell them, hey, if you want to stay in the truck, you want to come to my house and take a shower, you're more than welcome to. I treat them all like family, and because they're the family that helps feed my family. They help me. Their willingness to get up every day and come to work is what makes this whole thing happen.
Yeah.
It's not me alone. What good does it do me to have 7 trucks, 10 trucks, 12 trucks if I got nobody to move them?
That's right.
So.
What about you, Jesse? What's your motivation to prosper?
I mean, I'm gonna keep it short. My kids.
Yeah.
I got my commercial license before I had my kids, and honestly, I didn't even use my license in the beginning. I mean, it's different now than how it was back then, because back then everybody asked for those 2 years of experience.
Yeah.
You know,
right now it's a driver's market.
Yeah, exactly. Like now, if I would have gotten my license, if I would get my license now, then instead of back then, I would have worked right away. But back then, nobody wanted to hire me.
Mm-hmm.
So for like 2 years, I didn't use my commercial license. All I was doing is towing. And then things changed once I had my daughter. She's pretty much the reason I changed into trucking and started doing all this. I had to change my life some way, somehow, because I was tired of living from paycheck to paycheck. And honestly, trucking for me, it's changed my life.
Yeah, trucking, man.
And I tell that to everybody. You know, at the end of the day, me doing trucking, I was able to buy my home. You know, I didn't see myself buying a home before I got my commercial license. Like I said, I was literally living from paycheck to paycheck. There was days that I would go hungry because I didn't have money. You know, so it's like, look at me now. So, I mean, my kids are everything to me right now. You know, I'm thankful that Rick gives me the opportunity for me to be able to spend time with my kids more than before. So, I mean, yeah. You know, my kids is...
But what do I tell you guys all the time?
What part? What don't you tell us?
That, you know, what good does it do you to have a job and make money if you can't see your family?
Exactly.
I believe in family time.
Yep.
You know, I believe in you guys being a part of your family's lives.
Yep.
You know, it's not just work. You have a balance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't do you no good to make $1,500, you know, $1,600, $1,800, $2,000 a week if you can't go to Disneyland and spend it with your family. You know, you don't. I appreciate you coming to work, but, you know, if you need family time, let me know. And that's where I come into play, where I tell them, hey, man, if there's no one to cover your shift, I'll get in the truck and drive.
Thanks for sharing. You good?
No, yeah, we're good.
We need some Red Bulls up in this bitch.
No, we're good.
Nah, we're good. We good.
We're almost there. I know I estimated it'll be like 1.5 hours, but we're at 2.5. Huh? Did you guys know? Time flies, huh? When you're having fun.
I hope everybody out there watching doesn't get bored and fall asleep. You know?
Wake your ass up.
So.
Did I already ask you what did you want to be growing up?
Yeah.
I did?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I'm going to have Alzheimer's, I guess. Too much party times. Any side hustles at the moment?
I do a lot of side hustles. You know,
legally or illegally? No, I'm playing.
you know me. I'm a firm believer. I'm not going to let the bank sit on my money and let people borrow my money, you know, to collect 28% interest so they can give me 1 to 1.5% back on it, you know. So I'm always looking for different opportunities, you know, to help people. You know, I helped invested in a barber supply shop in New Mexico, and, you know, people who have small ideas and small, you know, they have an idea for a small business or a pop-up tent. You know, I'll put money up to help them and get off their, you know, get on their feet and do what they got to do. But I'm always, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, and I stay looking for, you know, like I'm currently thinking about a, you know, Hispanic infused sushi restaurant. You know, there's a few out there, but in the community I live in, we don't have that. And there's a lot of people who I think would be interested in, you know, something different. Yeah. You know, and when I come with my ideas, I try to do something different than most people, you know.
Wait, your boy, did you hear the tripas? No? Because I saw you looking around, because I had the bubble guts right now.
Oh.
They kind of went off, and then I saw him look around. It threw me off. I was like, did he hear me? But I guess now everybody knows.
Yeah, no. But yeah,
so the sushi stuff, huh?
Different ideas
twist.
Come to head. You know, I'm into classic cars. You know, he's really good mechanic, and, you know, we've talked about opening, you know, a Harley shop, like a, you know, a custom bike shop. Yeah. For doing custom, you know, repairs on motorcycles and
baggers. Is that what they call them?
Yeah, I have a bag. We have baggers.
B-class, you know, and then we have like my neighbor, you know, who's a gearhead and he loves building hot rods. And we talked about opening a classic hot rod shop because, you know, nobody's honest nowadays. You take a car in for an oil change, they tell you need a new transmission, right? When there's nothing wrong with it.
Look at all these metal shavings, bro.
Yeah.
That they fucking picked up from
right.
the floor.
You know, put a little oil in their hand, said it came from your engine. And so my neighbor, he's a real good guy when it comes to that, and he's very honest. And so we've talked about opening up a few different types of businesses and stuff. But I'm always looking for new opportunities.
How would you structure those? Because I'm curious too. Because I want to, you know, tap into other realms of business when the time is right. How do you structure that? Do you think, like, if you invest in someone's business, how do you get there's legal paperwork for that? Like, I'm gonna invest in this startup, and I want back a certain percentage.
I own a mechanic shop.
Okay.
And I started off as a partner, a side-by-side partner. So I was hands-on and everything. Once I got my commercial license, I became a silent partner. Now that's where a lot of legalities start coming into play, where the guy wants to play hide books, hide the money. So I mean, it's kind of hard when you become a silent partner, and if you're not there all the time.
Okay.
I feel.
Okay.
You know, because it's for me, it's not going good. I've already asked, hey, buy me off. You know, just I don't want to be part of this anymore. It's already been 3 years, and he still hasn't bought me off. You know, and there's no point for me to go. If I go and get crazy, then what's gonna happen? So, it's
a risk.
Yeah,
in our business, me and my cousin, you know, we don't need it, but everything's 50-50. At the bank, he can't sign a document without me. He can't apply for credit without me. I can't do the same without him. We can't make any business decisions without one or the other being present, and it's like that the way we set the company up. So now if something happened to one of us, then obviously one takes over, right? But everything we do is 50-50.
What happens if you don't agree? Is that going to delay stuff? Like, that'll be like what do you call it, a gridlock? Or what's the word for
happens a lot.
Oh, yeah?
We disagree to agree. We agree to disagree.
You don't talk 4 days, 3 days, then you agree.
He has ideas, and I don't see the logic in his ideas, and I'll get upset. And the same with me. I have ideas, and he doesn't.
He's punching the air right now.
Right. He doesn't agree with me, you know, but there's times where I'll stop and I'll try to figure out why he's thinking the way he's thinking. And he'll do the same. He won't tell me he's doing the same because he's got a lot of pride, but I'll stop and analyze why he wants to make this decision. And if I'm confused, then I'm a firm believer, ask, right? If you don't know, ask. And I'll be like, hey, bro, why do you feel this way? And he'll point out his reasoning for me. And then we'll come to an agreement, or I'll be like, yeah, you're right. You know, we shouldn't do that. Let's hold back. And so that happens a lot. But at the end of the day, he trusts me enough to know that if I think something's a good choice, he'll trust my intuition and ride with me. You know, and I tell him we both know failure, so we're not going to drive each other to the ground anymore. You know what I'm saying? You know, trust is a big thing in a business partnership.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. I'll edit it out.
No. It's
no. I mean the silence. Like, you know. It's like, it's I just write down like when there's moments like that. I just whatever space I got. I just little stuff I'm learning along the way. So then it's easy. I just go straight into that. Chop, chop, chop.
Oh, nice.
It makes me sound like a Luis Rogan. Cut out all the uhs, all the
You know, for people who do a lot of public speaking, I would like to tell them, company owners and people who are watching this, if you have a company or you have employees that work for you that speak for your company or like yourself, there's a thing called Toastmasters International. And if you go to that, they teach you how to speak publicly, deliver a speech or a message. And they start from like an icebreaker up into the 10th speech, you know. And when you get there, the whole job is to cut out us, I's, ands, you know, those types of things.
Become
right?
an eloquent speaker.
And so if you actually, it kind of, it's an awesome thing to learn, because you can learn how to speak and deliver a powerful message in 5 minutes or 3 minutes. When you're at home and you're watching the news and you listen to our president speak, or the House of Speakers, they get up there, Nancy Pelosi, right? They get up there and today, you know, the American people has endured a damage from Russia. It's like, who the hell voted for these people to be on TV?
Yeah.
All you have to do is deliver a speech in 3 minutes, and you're and I and you know, and it's like, is this really what we have controlling our society?
It's because 90% of the content in that speech is bullshit. So.
Right, and it's written for you on a screen before you get up there.
Yeah, even with the assistance of the teleprompter.
Right.
Yeah.
If you still have to read that and say, I think you need to go back to school and gather your thoughts, you know? Mm-hmm. So Toastmasters International is a big thing for public speaking. And a lot of companies will give their employees more money for having gone through it if there are people who deliver work seminars, or you're doing something online.
How does that work? How do you sign up, or what? Is it like a club or what?
They're everywhere. So you just Google Toastmasters International near me, and they'll tell you where the meetups are. In my area, they have it at the Barnes and Nobles or at the BMW dealerships every Wednesday from 6 to 7 or 6 to 8.
Does that help you get, like, well, you literally just said it, right? Public speaking, how make you be better at it? What about, like, the fears of it, or, like, the whole...
All that goes away with it.
Stage fright, all that. The more you do it, huh?
That's what it's for. Everybody in that room is in the same boat as you.
Trying to. Okay.
When you first get in there, you know, you're going to sit there and twirl your fingers and, hi, my name is such and such. And that's the first speech, right? And then you have people sitting in, you know, your own colleagues sitting in the seats. They have the counter, the I counter, the
Oh, shit.
Then they have people counting how long it takes you between words to speak. And then when you're done, they
score you.
Yes, they put this together. So the first things first is to get rid of your stage fright. When you come up on stage, you speak, you have people that are like, and they stay quiet, right? They talk very low. You might have someone in the back who will raise their hand every time they can't hear you, so you know you need to speak up. And when you get stuff like that, I can tell you, I did 3 sessions in prison. And then I turned around and came home and went to one out here, and it was the same program. And they proctor it inside federal prison. And again, they don't do this where you have to do it. I did it because I chose to do it. So by the 10th speech, you get up there and you know how to command attention, you know. Good morning, how's everybody doing? Okay, you know, you got the people falling asleep with the coffee. They heard you jolt your voice, and you start talking. Then you get to... So, you know, today, on my way here, I came upon this. And so now you're grabbing people's attention, right? You're taking it off a little bit from the speech, and you're grabbing their attention. And then you're teaching them a little bit like, okay, now I got everybody's attention. Okay, you probably have 3 to 5 minutes after that to deliver your speech. If you start dragging your speech on, you're not delivering your point. You're not talking with a firm voice. You're not making eye contact with the crowd. You're not using hand gestures to keep people looking. You're going to lose them. So you have 3 to 5 minutes to deliver the most powerful speech you can. By the time you deliver your 10th speech, you won't go to the 10th speech unless you've taken the steps from speech 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 all the way to 10. Then they have things like improv, or, you know, think on your feet, or critical thinking. They'll be sitting in the crowd, hey, Luis, can you come up here? Yeah. If you were president of the United States, how would you run the country? You got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to think on your feet and deliver that answer.
You know what happens thinking on your feet? Sometimes you try so hard to come up with the proper words. And I want you to visualize this. The words are coming to me, and they're all just, you're picking all the nicest words in your mind, and they're all coming, and you're like, oh, fuck, not that many. And then you don't structure the sentence correctly.
Right.
Next thing you know, you're so focused on what the next sentence is going to be that you're not even listening. It's not making sense what you say to yourself. Like, you forget what the fuck you said, even though it literally just came out. Like,
well,
you're like
that's
running.
What the program is for. And every time you deliver your speech, you're going to have people in your crowd that are going to give you, criticism. They're going to give you praises. And that's their job. You're always going to have that one person sitting in the crowd that's going to be like, I think you could have did this better. Yet you haven't heard that.
Shut the fuck up.
You haven't heard that person.
By that point, I'm already like speaking up. I won't take it anymore.
You're always going to have that one person that's always going to have something negative to say. But the whole point of that, having your peers in there, is that you're all in there for the same reason. You're in there to learn how to speak publicly. You're in there to learn how to deliver a speech. Most of the reasons why the words back up in your mouth or in your throat, in your brain when you're talking is simply because...
So it's a real thing.
Yes. Most of the times they back up in your brain because you haven't had the experience of getting it out. But once you become comfortable in becoming the center of attention in a room, and you know that that's your job, that's what you have to do, is command attention, keep their attention, deliver a powerful message, all that stuff comes out of your head. There's no brain, there's no sponge in there that's going to hold anything back. You just, with experience and comfort, comes with commanding attention.
You think taking notes kind of fucks up your the way you line up the sentences?
No, it doesn't. For me, I've always had that experience in my head where I can sit there and not have to write a speech. There's been times where they want you to write a speech and you get up there and deliver a speech. So you have to write it. And then you're reading the speech. You're learning how to read the speech and look up and make eye contact. So...
How do you know where you left off?
That's well, and that's fuck? Just it, right? There's ways of doing things when you're touching your piece of paper. You put your fingers down on it. Looks like you're holding it down, but your middle finger's on this word. You see our president on it all the time. He'll look and talk, and then he'll stop, and he'll look around, and then he'll go back, and he'll repeat the word. I think he's the worst public speaker we've had, but that's another story. I've delivered speeches where I've gone up with a piece of paper in my hand, and it looks like I'm reading off the piece of paper. And then when I walk off, the proctor who's in the room, you have to hand him your speech. And so I'll walk off and hand him a blank piece of paper. And they'll look at it and be like, did he just read that speech? There's nothing on this paper. That's the type of person that I am. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. And I've had them say, well, how did you know to say that? When you have to think of what you're going to say, or you have to remember what you're going to say, 9 times out of 10, it's probably a lie. And that's what I tell people. I don't tell lies. I don't want to remember anything. I don't want to remember what I told you.
How do you structure it, though, so that it does come, it flows?
Experience, bro.
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah. I've tried...
Some people have it, some people don't.
Putting the keywords. What about keywords?
That too.
That reminds you of a topic,
And I've done that.
And then you go off that.
When I first started, I wrote a speech, right? But then you get to realizing that you're looking for sophisticated words. You're looking to sound like somebody you're not. You want to get up there and you want to sound like you're impressing people. But people don't want to hear fake. People want to know real, right? Take a look at BBC, British Broadcasting News Station, right? They don't filter their news. They tell the people what it is. Then you take a look at KCAL9 or Fox 11, and they're telling you what a certain political party wants you to hear. And it's fake. It's not what it really is. Wake up every day and listen to the news, and they're just beating on the same drum. So, when I started this program, everything I did was I would write down, and then I was like, look, man, writing down is just too complicated for me because I found myself wanting to put words that I never really used. Then I started using keywords, topics, right? And I kind of know I'd be kind of standing there pacing. There's always a clock in a room. You can kind of see, okay, I've talked 30 seconds, 45 seconds, on this topic, next topic, next topic, next topic. And eventually you just get rid of it. And so if they say, hey, I want you to write a speech about how Containeroz came about. I mean, bro, what's there to write about? Tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Tell your story. Tell them how it worked. Tell them how it is.
Oh, me? Yeah.
But you get the point.
Yeah, that'll flow way better than, because then you would have to remember, in this sentence I said this, so I better make sure I remember that. And then sooner or later you're gonna say the truth, and it's not gonna match.
But that's what makes people special.
Yeah.
That's what makes people, hey, this guy's a good truck driver. For our company, he's gonna drive a truck. This person's good at delivering public presentations. This is going to be the person we're going to use for orientation in our company when new drivers come in, right? And they don't need to write a speech because they're telling the truth of what the company is. Their topic of conversation to new recruits is going to be exactly what the company offers. So they're not telling a lie.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And so their ability to speak publicly is going to be very clear, very bold. The drivers can respect it. They can hear it. They know what they're talking about. They know what they have coming in. If you have any questions, your public, person who's giving you a public presentation can answer that. And that's why in my company, I won't hire anybody from the outside. Everybody in my company is promoted from within, because I want you to know from the bottom to the top what my company is about.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I went to the job fair, we had more people around us than big
companies.
Yeah, because I mean, we didn't even have a tent up, to be honest.
Yeah,
we just showed up with the truck, and the truck just barely
$200,000 truck though,
and the truck just barely came back from work, so it was filthy, and we actually had the driver that was driving it, show up and everything. And people were just like, what are you guys about? And we didn't have anything on our hands. All I had was my tablet, grabbing numbers down, talking to them about what we stand for. And then you had the other guys passing out pamphlets. And then, they're literally reading off the pamphlet. And you're like, are you going to remember me the day of tomorrow? Actually, we got one or two drivers off of that job fair. One of them, yeah.
Well, and it's from the same trucking school that I went to get my license. Okay, the owner, she's a real good woman. Her and her husband and son, they run the school. I will give them their praise. Their GSF trucking school. There's a school in Sylmar and a school in South Central.
Okay.
And when I went through there was a lady who was sitting at the desk, and she said, what do you hope to accomplish from having your trucking license? And I said, I'm going to start my own company. And she looked at my cousin and she said, well, what do you hope to accomplish? And he said, I'm with him. We're going to start our own company. Exactly what you see Jessie doing is what she did. Not the owner, the lady who's at the desk. She's not there no more. But she laughed a little bit. Well, that's good to have something ambitious to become, and yada, yada, yada. And when we started the company, I came back to the school, and I've been there with him. I've been there with my cousin. And I said, hey, we need drivers. What do you mean? Well, this is what we're doing, And they're like, oh, okay. And it took them a while to take us serious. But then Edna recognized the work I put into to helping people and stuff like that. And I used my company as a platform to help people better their lives instead of just being some rich guy or something, right? She invited us to the job fair, and I told Jessie, hey, we're going to take that truck right there. We're going to pull up, park it. I'm going to go sit off in the corner somewhere, and I'm going to let you and Henry run the show. And the reason for that is because you can talk to the owner of a company. They're going to tell you whatever you want to hear. I want people to talk to them. And I walked away from them, left them alone, and I didn't even hear their conversation because I want them to be able to tell people how they feel working for us. And what I told him is, you see all these people at this job fair lined up? They all got tents. They tell you this, this, and that. Chances of you seeing that same person in the company ever again is a slim to none. That person will never know your name again. They showed up. They got paid $25 an hour to stand there and hand out pamphlets. Tell you how great the company is, but go home stressed out because they can't pay their rent at the end of the month, living paycheck to paycheck. Right? You come work for us. You pay your bills. You look at your bank account, and you still got money stacking. So I put the truck there, and I let them do the work. I let them talk to people. I let the people ask them any question they want. And when I bring people in to do ride-alongs with them, I tell them, I don't need you to ask me any questions. You're going to be in a truck with my drivers. You can ask them whatever you want to ask them about me. How do I treat you? How do I pay? What are the trucks like? Do I repair them? Do I take care of them? Whatever question you want to ask them, feel free to ask them. And I tell them, don't lie. Don't make me sound good. Tell them how you feel. And 9 out of 10 people who go on a ride-along come back and they work for us. The people that we lose are people who, if we lose somebody, it's because they came in, did a ride-along, or they worked 2 or 3 days at night and they realized trucking isn't for them.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? We lose them quick. Very rarely do I lose a driver who's just been with us a while and, hey, I'm quitting tomorrow. You know?
Nice. I have, what would you do different if you could go back in time?
It's a very interesting question. I've asked myself that every single day. If I can do anything different, I probably wouldn't. Because that's wishing or hoping for something that really wasn't. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And my experience of growing up, my childhood, and my teenage years, and my young adulthood, and my time spent incarcerating me, that's my story. That's who I am, and that's what made me today. And, you know, if I were to try to take, you know, the hands of time and turn them back, I probably would be somebody at a company, not happy, begging for a raise, asking for a better opportunity, hoping to get the seniority to have weekends off, work a 9 to 5. But let's be honest, how many people can really afford to own a home in today's society working a 9 to 5? You live in California, oh, go get a second job. It doesn't work like that with us. You work with us, you have everything you want, and you know, and more. You want to work more, you want to make more money, drive more miles. But you can have that with us. And if I were to go back in time, I can't picture it. Some people say, you wasted 12 years of your life sitting in prison. No, I didn't. That's how I used my time. You can go to a university, you know, and I just want to say this, you know, humbly and respectfully. You can go to university for 10 years, right? You got doctors that have their doctorate degree and stuff like that. And they studied for 8, 10, 12 years. Guy makes $190,000 a year. He's still working for someone. And he still has to get up every day and go to work to provide money for his family.
Yeah.
And then you have people like us who look for ways to better themselves. Our opportunities woke us up, rattled our cages. So how do you think a doctor feels knowing that he went to school for 12 years? And here I am, a high school graduate with some college, and I'm shining on him. Yet, if I was at a country club golfing with that doctor and I told him I was a truck driver, he probably wouldn't even talk to me. Little does he know that I'm clowning on his paycheck. But it's not about money. It's about respect. It's about how you treat people. It's about humanity. And that's why I wouldn't go back and do anything different. Because of everything I've learned from this world to this world to this world to today's, it's made me who I am. And if I only get to live 20 more years of my life with this mentality, it's going to be the 20 best years I've ever lived in my life because of the 35 years I sacrificed to be here. If that kind of gives you an answer to the question,
that's
you know, I know some people won't. I don't regret anything I did. It was a learning lesson. It was something that definitely changed my life, changed my way of thinking, changed my way of dealing with people, changed the way I approach people on the streets. You know, it changed the way I do things. I feed homeless people. I give people opportunities. You'll never see me posted on Instagram. Never see me posted on social media. You'll never see me brag about it. I give families Christmas trees for Christmas. I give families turkeys for Thanksgiving. I don't go to the news and say I need help. I use the money that I make to give back to the community. Would you do that if you were a company employee and never experienced poverty? You never experienced anything in life and you make $90,000 a year? Would you stop to go give back to your community? No. You would feel entitled. You would feel like you earned everything you have, and if they wanted it, then they should get up and go to work and get a job. They've never experienced what I experienced in life. They don't know what it's like to park behind a Vons or a Food for Less and wait for them to throw away bread that's turning green and bologna that's outdated. A guy goes inside and I go jump in the trash can. This bologna is just outdated. It expired today. They can't sell it. But there's nothing wrong with it. I take that bologna. I grab a loaf of bread. I throw 4 or 5 pieces away that have green on it. Now I got myself food. That's how I grew up. And that's what made me who I am today. The world needs more people in it to help people instead of being self-centered. What would you do different?
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't do anything different, to be honest. I mean, I'm grateful for everything, same thing, pretty much everything that I've gone through.
Right? Because changing the past changes the present.
Exactly.
In a way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if you ask me, I think I have the same answer. Maybe a little less, of the substance abuse or whatever. But who knows, right? It's all for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
This one I should have asked way sooner when you were on that topic, but it's one of my last questions. Are you able to share any prison stories or lessons that you want to people to get a learning experience from in a way? Or
it's not for everyone. Not everyone is gonna make it in there. When you are out on the street with your group of friends, every group of friends is gonna have an alpha male, an alpha leader, an alpha person in their group. And so when you get to prison, everyone that's there was that alpha male of their crowd. They were the dominant one of their crowd. So you got a bunch of people there who are all with big egos and they're all about respect and you're not going to look down on me and blah, 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 blah. There's some people there who genuinely, they really don't care about life. They're just straight bona fide knuckleheads. And believe it or not, they're still human. You crack a joke with them, they'll laugh with you, but they'll gladly go stab somebody who doesn't need to be on the yard with them. You know what I'm saying? Come back, have a cup of coffee, eat a cookie, and laugh about it. And if you think for one bit that prison is glorified, you're going to earn, stripes and respect and God knows what. If you like being told when to stand up, when to go to sleep, when the light's being turned out, when to go to the chow hall, when the TVs get turned off, how many phone minutes a month you can use, then by all means, that might be your lifestyle. But to know what that's like and be home today, it is definitely something that keeps me grounded. I still have the pair of shoes that I came home with. And I look at them every now and then. And sometimes I think when I feel like giving up or I feel like being somebody that I'm not I want to try to impress people. I look at those shoes and I remember what they've been through. I didn't have it hard. I'm a pretty tough individual myself, but there's always people tougher than you out there. You know, I didn't have it hard because I knew how to treat people. I treated people with respect. I gave people what I wanted back. And it's just one of those things that it will humble you, or it'll create a beast out of you, or it'll create in Spanish, we call it like a cobarde.
Coward.
You can come home scared straight from some of the things you've seen in there. There's a lot of things I won't talk about. You know, if you want to know that bad, catch a case and go find out.
Yeah, fuck all that.
But me personally, I respect a lot of the people that I met in there. There's a lot of smart people there who don't need to be there. They deserve a second chance at life, and they just need the right guidance. But I give a shout out to every man who's been there and come home and done something with their life, willing to change. They know that it's not what it's glorified to be. You want to go to prison because you want to be somebody, you want to be this or that, or you do things and you just don't think you're going to get caught. But when you come home and you realize that there isn't a celebration party waiting for you, it's not all what it was hyped up to be, it'll change your life. And the time that I spent away from my family, the lengthy incarceration is what really changed me. Had I gone in there for a year or two, it would have been a joke, a slap on the wrist. So you get these guys that say, yeah, Holmes, I've been to prison my whole life. You know, I've been in and out my whole life. You know, I've done 12 years already. You know, year here, year there, come back, go back, year this, that. I did 12 years straight. And there's guys who have done a lot more time. The fact that I was gone for so long, it removed me from society and allowed me to see. It's like time stops where you're at, but everything else keeps moving. When I went into prison, there were no smartphones. I come home and there's smartphones. It's like, what the hell is this? Why did the screen flip when I turned the phone? Things like that. And it'll do something to you. It'll really, affect you mentally. And you start to ask yourself, like, damn, the consequences of my actions put me in this situation. And you can come home and be hungry and chase your dreams, or you can come home and feel sorry for yourself and go right back. For the people who have never been there, you don't want to go there. If you're going to go because you're defending your family or something happens, immediate threat, fine. But don't go for some nonsense. It's not worth it. If you want to share prison stories, bro, I've seen child molesters get stabbed. I've seen, people who are called snitches or informants. I've seen them get stabbed and beat up. And it's like, it's normal to see shit like that. It's not like, oh my God, what happened? You see somebody get hit like that, it happened for a reason. It's not like someone just innocently attacked somebody. They had it coming. And it's sad because some of the people who will do stuff like that will catch an ad charge. They're only there for 10 years. Now they're there for life. For standing up for something they believe in. And the government, in my opinion, has failed our justice system. Uh-huh. You give this guy 110 years for an accident when he wasn't drunk or using drugs in Colorado.
Yeah.
But this dodo bird over here raped a woman and got 3 years for it. Right? Now I'm in prison and I'm doing a 10-year sentence. And I don't agree with people like that living around me. So if I whack that dude and take him out, it becomes a hate crime, and I get an ad charge, I may never come home again because you put me in the same environment as these kind of people. And that's what I was talking about earlier about having programs designed to attack the mentality and help people see where their malfunctions in their brains are. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could go on for days with stories about prison, but it's not something I like to glorify. It's not something that should be glorified. I can tell you just straight up, there's a lot of people in there who have the potential to be something great in life. There's a lot of good artists. There's a lot of good writers. There's a lot of good people who have talent, and they just don't have that opportunity to come home because of a bad choice or bad decision they made at a young age. But the fact of the matter is are you the same individual you were when you were 18?
No.
Are you?
Nope.
Neither am I. So a choice that this man made at the age of 16, 17, or 18 that cost him the rest of his life. That man's 40 years old today, 50 years old today. He's not the same person, and he doesn't think the same way that person thought when he was 18. And so why should he be condemned for the rest of his life? Some people will see this differently. I've seen people get life for crimes that didn't even have an impact on an individual. So it's one of those things where people will tell you it's not fair, it's not this, it's not that. Taking it from someone who's been there, if you really don't want to worry about that, don't put yourself in a situation that can put you there. You know? And society today has changed a lot. You can go to prison for saying the wrong thing to somebody. You can say, but the guy went to prison got arrested because he said he was going to go drop a bomb in the bathroom. He was really talking about going to take a shit.
Yeah.
But he said it around the wrong person, and they said this guy was going to go blow a bathroom up.
Yeah.
That's my point. Society's not the same anymore. You can't beat your kid's ass anymore for disrespecting an adult. But back when we were growing up, if I backtalk an adult or my teacher said I gave her attitude, my dad my dad put me out of commission for 3 weeks.
Yeah. They don't want the parents doing that, but they're
Right.
they're okay with the correction.
Right.
Doing it.
You won't allow a parent to smack their kid nowadays because it's, oh, I'm going to call the cops on you. Fuck that. I put you on this earth. I'm going to take you off this earth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not going to disrespect someone. I disrespect my mom, bro. I see some of these kids talk to their moms. You know, it's like, why you let your kid talk to you like that? I can't do nothing to him. You know, they'll call the cops on me. They'll call CPS on me. Well, good. Let them fucking take them. Take them from me. You know, you want to be an asshole? Let them go live in someone else's house.
That's how you like those parents now.
Right.
You know? Yeah. You think you got it bad here? You know, go over there. So yeah, you know, back to the prison stories and all that good shit, man. It's, you know, appreciate what you have when you have it in front of you. Sometimes this is a really important message I like to give to people. Sometimes you find yourself in hard times. You find yourself doubting yourself. You find yourself seeking pity on yourself or seeking pity from other people. But just when you think you have it bad because you have no shoes on your feet, you walk out the store and you see the man with no feet.
Yeah.
And when you see that, stop and take a moment and ask yourself if life is really that bad for you. You're mad because you don't have shoes on, and that man ain't got no feet to put shoes on.
With a bigger smile than you.
Exactly.
Yep.
So those are things that I like to tell people.
This is a great interview.
Different walk of life, man.
As we wrap it up, is there anything you want to add or you would like to add?
Is there anything you'd like to add?
No.
For me, chase your dreams, guys. It's nothing stopping you from doing whatever you want to do in life but yourself. If you're hungry, someone doesn't know you're hungry, you got to speak up. If you need help, how could someone know to help you if you don't help yourself? If you have dreams and goals, you know, start with Google and YouTube. Look it up. There's people like yourself who create podcasts and people who come to talk and about how certain things change their lives. There's people who make videos about helping you start a company or how to learn how to cook or something. And Google will tell you, YouTube, people put these videos up for so many reasons. And society evolves so fast that the college degree you earned in 1990 probably has nothing to do with today's society. And so always stay educated. Always keep up on what you're doing. Always do a little research. Don't be comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? If you have an idea, put it on a piece of paper. Look it up. Research it. Do the best you can to make it happen. Don't be mad because someone wouldn't help you, because everything you need to know is online today. You just have to put the damn football game down, or put the basketball game down, or put the video games down, or The Voice.
Whatever it is now.
And take some time for yourself and study and research and do what you got to do. You know, somebody out there will hear you. Somebody will see you. I look for young talent. I look for stuff like that. I look when I see people trying. Hey, you got a little taco stand going? Man, every night I drive by here, I see a big old line. How come you don't get a cart? Man, all I got is this tent. Well, check it out, bro. What's a cart gonna cost me? 40 grand? Let's talk. Right? You never know who's watching you. You never know who wants to help you. Mm-hmm. And not all people who have money come dressed in suit and ties.
Yeah, we learned that from the restaurant story.
The man in the suit and tie works for the man that's at home in sweatpants and a bathrobe. Remember that. And I tell people, you never know who's watching you. Never. Don't do it because someone's watching you. Do it for yourself, and the right person will come around and just take you. You never know what opportunities are going to be afforded to you. You never know what your next move is going to be. But if you try and try and try and try and don't give up on yourself, you're going to accomplish what you want to accomplish. For all my drivers that are watching and people that have been in prison, been in trouble with the law, you know what I'm talking about. You've been there. You put all the effort into being that dude on the streets, and you got caught. You got what you deserved. Imagine if you put all that attention, all that energy, and all that effort into accomplishing something you really want to accomplish. You will accomplish it. And sometimes it'll happen faster than you know. It'll happen before you even realize it happened. Before you know it, your taco stand had 10 people, and in 2 weeks, you know, you've got 100 people standing in the line. You got something great. But you're not thinking that. You're thinking, damn, these people are hungry. I'm busy. I got to cook more. But why are they at your stand? Because you're doing something right.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And so at some time, people say, oh, it must be nice. It is nice. You got to realize that you're doing something great. Acknowledge it. Don't downplay yourself. Confirm who you are. Confirm your identity. Take advantage of the person that you are. Accept it. Embrace it. You know, people read realness and people read fakeness. Some people make it. Some people fake it till they make it. And some people just don't get it. You know, to wrap it up, just I tell everybody, man, just chase your dreams. Don't give up. I like to say that if you can put your hand up and reach for the sky, when you can finally touch the sky, that's when I'll stop trying. But as long as there's no limit, I'm not going to stop. And I tell people, I've been home 5 years, and I started this business with my cousin 3 years ago. This is what we accomplished in 3 years.
Fuck yeah.
Imagine what I'm going to do in the next 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. And when I tell you, you're going to see airplanes in the sky with my company logo on it, you're going to see it. Who's going to stop me?
Yourself, and it's up to you. So
my point exactly.
You got this.
I can be comfortable and say, well, I got 7 trucks, I got 10 trucks, I got 11 trucks. I'm good. I have my home. Hell no. Because just as quick as God gave it to me, he could take it back from me. So I'm not going to stop trying until I'm dead.
Chase that bag. Chase the bag.
So when do you rest?
You know.
When do you sleep?
Hardly ever. Sleep is for the dead, man. That's why they say rest in peace. You know, you're in your coffin, you're dead, you're resting. My heart's beating, my eyes open and closed. I'm awake. I'm gonna chase it. My body shuts down 2-3 hours a day. I go to sleep. I wake up. I do it again. And people, how do you do it?
It's what you went through. It gives you that hambre,
right?
What the fuck? Like, you know, I think it's like the people that have the freedom don't value it. And now that you had a lack of it, now you know, like, it's like a wake-up call. Like, all the opportunities are here. Like,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
all those years in there, you're probably like, I could do this, but I can't leave. Okay. But
And it's crazy because I feel like there's not enough time in a day sometimes for what I want to do. I wake up and I want to do so much, and I'm like, damn, it's time to go to bed. Like, no.
you'll probably love one of those posters, the Memento Mori. I don't know if I pronounced it right. Remember, you must die.
Right.
And they have it broken down into little squares of weeks. So every week you fill in the square. They have it up to 80 years or 100. And as you see it filling up, you're like, time is running out, like literally. And people say it has a psychological effect on them, like knowing that time, the clock is ticking. So every Friday or whatever day you choose, fill in the square.
You get a lot of people,
You know?
hey, did you watch that show on Netflix? No, I didn't. You didn't watch that show on Netflix?
What did I miss out?
Please enlighten me. Tell me how that show told me it was going to get me another $1 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, life isn't all about money, but money makes life a lot easier. A lot of things people do is based around their financial situations. And I tell people, you know, it's nice to sit and shut your brain down sometimes and watch a movie once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But, 8 o'clock tonight, I'm going to watch this show. But come Thursday, you're asking for an advance on your paycheck,
Yeah.
right? Study. Do something. You have 24 hours in a day. Make the most of it. If you made the same effort today that you made yesterday, you wasted the day. If you made a penny more today than you made yesterday, you won. You know, and I don't mean that literally with money. If you made a better relationship, if you learned a different word out of the dictionary today than you knew yesterday,
Yeah.
you're winning. You're getting richer.
You're growing.
That's what it's all about. If you wake up today and you went to work and you went through the motions and you did the same thing, and then you come home and you watch a TV show, you sit down, you eat dinner, you go to sleep, what did you do different from yesterday? And the thing I learned about time is it goes by so fast, man, that if you don't take action to change your situation, now if you're perfectly fine and comfortable, hey, power to you. But if you're one of those people who are hungry, if you didn't take initiative to make today better than yesterday, then what are you doing? You're going through the motions.
Yeah.
You know, we've been out of high school, 20 years now? Something like that, 22 years? And it's the same thing. It feels like literally just yesterday sometimes that I left high school. And so if you just sit there and work on a day-to-day basis, I'm going to go to work. You're going to wait for my retirement check when I'm 65. You may not even live to be 65, but you were working for a retirement. If you get to be 65 and you never changed your daily situation, by the time you're 65, you may not even have the energy to live anymore. You may just want to sit at home and sit by the pool and sit in the backyard and stare at the tree. And it's like, hell no, bro. I don't want to be that guy on the bed, dying, crying, and regretting life. You know? With my last thought for the day before we leave here, and I'm very blessed and thankful that you brought us in here. When you come into this world, you come in as a baby and you're crying, and everybody around you is laughing and smiling, you know, when you're born. Live your life so powerful that when you die, you're the one smiling and everyone around you is crying. Make an impact. Live your life. You understand what I'm saying? And I leave people with that thought. You know, that thought can take you 1,000 different places.
I like it. Where can they reach you at if they want to pick your brain? Any of you guys?
My social media is our trucking company is at freedom_USA_corporation. If you go on there, you send us a message. Any one of us can get back to you. Once again, at freedom_USA_corporation. That's our page.
All right.
Last but not least, though, if you don't mind, I want to take a moment and I want to thank, you know, my business partner and cousin, and I want to thank my family members and all the loved ones around us that have supported us, and all the people who put in the time and put up with our shenanigans while we're chasing our dreams. It's not easy, and we don't take the time every day to thank you. enough. And so thank you. You know who you are. You guys are loved dearly.
There it is. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next episode of the Containeroz podcast. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and all that other stuff that these YouTubers say nowadays, So, peace.